All right, everybody, we are live. We are here. We are ready to talk about Lightyear, the outstanding, the awesome, the awe-inducing Lightyear movie. So we're going to do our live review. Of course, we're going to be joined by special guests. Usually I start with, just us, and then I jump over to everybody else. But let's start with everybody else because, first off, guess who's back, everybody? The man, Dan the Pixar fan. He is back in town.
What's going on?
Yeah, we are excited to have you back in the ring and ready to give some good, candid thoughts on Lightyear. You always have a little bit of a different twist than what we bring, so it's always valued. And then, of course, on the other side, we've got all the way over there, Miss Paulina is with us as well. Yeah, this is the other way. So welcome back as well. You are the one that always comes themed to the nines here.
Yes.
You've got your awesome Lightyear Mickey ears. And you showed us ahead of time, you've already got your sock shirt all themed. So yes, we'll start saying howdy and hello to some of the people in the chat. We're gonna have Gio joining us, but like usual, he's working, so he's gonna be a couple minutes behind. We've got people singing in the chat here. There's a starman. I like how that song is like essentially Lightyear now. So hello, Lara. Always a pleasure to have you along. Hopefully everything went good, wrapping up the rest of the old school year and getting through all the rest of those classes. Hello, Buzz. So Kooky Panda, always great to have you in here. Cool guy. Yep, we'll start. I'm going to zip past. If you guys want us to jump back and say hi, we'll go ahead and do that too. Christian, great to have you along. I'm sure I'm missing. Cayman. I believe it's Cayman, right? Cam, the toy man. We'll just go with Cam. So yes, great to have you along as well. And Mel is here giving Dan the old welcome back as well. We'll continue to pop up some of those hellos as we go. But always got to put Joe in here. Socks is my hero. Always got to put Brian in here. Great to have finally seen another Pixar.
Drew is heartbroken.
Drew is heartbroken? Drew, do you want in? Message us right now if you want in. You just tell me right now. We'll make it happen. You text me. I will send you the link. All you need is a Chrome browser and headphones. So yes, it was fantastic to see it in theaters again. Now I know, Paulina, you've had the luck of being able to see some previous ones because of your proximity to El Capitan. Yeah. But Dan, this is your first time since Onward, right?
For a Pixar movie in theaters?
For a Pixar movie in theaters.
Yeah, most everyone except for the special people like Paulina.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of us have not seen a Pixar film in theaters since Anna.
Yes, I know. It hurts. Now, Drew, don't give me that. I'm waiting right here. I don't see it. So, Kevin, nice to see you. Eric, nice to see you. I can't remember if I already put up Roe, but fantastic. Glad to see you were in here as well. So, okay. So, yes, our first time seeing a Pixar film in the theaters. And what a difference. I said it in our initial review when we walked out of the theater. For anybody that doesn't know this, by the way, this is a total spoiler discussion.
We're talking about everything.
We're not hiding anything. We're going to talk about our real, true feelings here. If you have any problems with that, then you got to go for now.
Yeah.
You can come back and watch it on YouTube after you've seen the movie. So, yes. So I said it when we came out of the theater with our initial review. We watched the first 35 minutes at home as part of a screener, and I didn't tear up with the Alicia moment. When we saw it in theaters, same exact build-up, same exact scene. It got me this time. So it's not like a lot. It's not like I was, like some Pixar movies, like my story of Toy Story 3 or Inside Out, where I just am like inconsolable. But it still got me, and that is the difference of a theatrical experience. So Dan, seeing it again, what was it like being back in theaters and being able to experience it? And you saw it the first time in IMAX, right?
Yeah, unfortunately it was the first and only time so far. I haven't been back
Okay, yeah.
But I'm kind of like a movie theater snob anyway. Like, it's fun. It's been fun to get them on Disney Plus in certain ways. As you know, it's fun to go back and watch them right away, and it's fun to pause and search through them right away and not wait a few months. But other than that, and it was a benefit that, I mean, we have a toddler, so it's really hard to get to the movies. So that was convenient for us.
Yeah.
Exactly. But and generally, I'm a movie theater snob, especially when it comes to IMAX. I like the biggest, loudest screen possible, and if I can't get to an IMAX theater, it's going to be the next best thing. So being able to see this in IMAX right off the bat was everything I hoped for. So
yes,
it was big, it was loud, I was right in the middle, just how I like it.
Perfect. Now, the IMAX you saw it at, I'm presuming, is like the IMAX we saw it at. Is it like the smaller IMAX, like part of an AMC or something like that? Or is this the full, like, 4/5, 3/4 format where it's a little less, like, tall or less wide?
Yeah, you know what? I think you would consider it, I guess, the smaller IMAX. It's the movie theater size IMAX.
Yeah.
The one at the aquarium that we have not that long from here, that's like the IMAX theater that was before IMAX was mainstream. They showed really just nature films on IMAX.
Correct. Yes.
And yeah, because this whole IMAX for cinema thing is not that old. In fact, I remember the first movie to get released on IMAX was Attack of the Clones. And if mainstream, like Hollywood movie, not nature film, and they had to actually cut parts out of it to make it fit the format.
Right, because it was still on physical film and it couldn't handle the weight of the reel.
Yeah, whatever they had to do. I do specifically remember them saying that, you know, parts of the film were cut out, and I remember how jarring it was when those parts were cut out.
Yeah.
So yeah, the aquarium IMAX, I guess, would technically be the bigger one. I guess this is the movie theater size IMAX, but it's still pretty massive.
Yeah, and that's how our experience was too with IMAX so far. The other one is much further away from us, so getting there is not like a hop, skip, and a jump away. It's like an adventure. So, Paulina, what was your experience like? Now, granted, yes, you've been the special chosen one that's been able to see these other movies in El Capitan.
El Cap.
Yeah, but how was it seeing Lightyear?
Oh, it was amazing. I caught it in XD, so it's not exactly IMAX, but it is a really huge screen. I think I was reading it's like 70 feet, you know, so it's like top and bottom, and it was amazing because it's I think more immersive than El Cap, because El Cap has a stage, so you're never that close to it, you know, you're always looking up. This one, it was just like so immersive, you know, so I really felt like I was in space and on the spaceships flying, and it was so great. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
and I love the surround sound, you know, because you just feel you're in it, you know, and this one was the perfect one for surround sound.
Yes.
You know? So, yeah.
Yes, it was so good. What was your take, like, being back in the theater again?
It was awesome. So Leo and I have seen it twice. You have seen it 3 times.
Yep.
Full times, not including your half watch.
Yeah, 3.5.
Yeah.
3 3/4.
So we all saw it first at an IMAX location, which is like an Imagine theater, which is huge.
It's as big as a football field. It's technically a little bigger than a football field, but it's just a bigger screen. It's not the IMAX precision of
color
visual quality
or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that was cool. So that was our son's first time seeing it, and that was cool. But when we saw it yesterday for Father's Day, our son was like, my seat was rumbling.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
like that was cool.
Yeah.
Like seeing it in IMAX was game changing, because you had told me, because you had already seen it.
Oh yeah. I saw it in
on Saturday.
Okay, hang on. I got to point this out. Drew comes in the chat and says, why was I not invited to this? And now he says, I'm not screen ready.
I get it.
Drew is always screen ready. So let's see here. We've got a special guest that has joined us. Look at this guy.
Hey,
There he is.
Sorry, I'm
Have some
late.
water.
So sorry, I interrupted you by the
No,
way because you were talking about the theatrical experience.
Oh, it was just way. I've always like understood like IMAX and it's like, oh my gosh, and like Dolby Atmos and stuff. You're like, oh, these are game changing things. This is the first film that I was like, wow, like IMAX, because you had already seen it in IMAX.
That's what we were talking. Yeah.
And then so you had said, hey, just watch because the black bars are going to disappear and the screen's gonna like enhance. It's gonna like get bigger basically, and like in certain spots, and that was pretty cool. And it was like every scene that was like a game-changing kind of scene.
Yes.
Like action or hyper speed.
Oh my gosh, that was... I was actually talking to a Pixar employee. We'll talk real quick about IMAX, and then I want to talk about the box office numbers. So that's where we'll go next. But I was talking with a Pixar employee about the whole format change. And I said, originally, when I walked out of that IMAX experience and I came from a standard viewing, I was like, man, I want this whole movie to be IMAX, to get that extra view. And then I told him, I kind of walked it back. I was like, and this is like, I told him in my head, like ahead of time, I was like, I don't want it. Because when it got to those space scenes, all of a sudden, without even noticing it, just experiencing that extra height and
same with some of the fight scenes, like when the Zurg bot, that's what they're called, right?
Yeah.
Was like fighting and like the trio was helping Buzz. Like that was an expanded scene.
Right.
And like you don't really recognize that until it's like, oh, okay. It enhances it.
Totally.
Hey, TJ.
Yes.
We have a naughty bot in the chat.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
It's disturbing some viewers. So
you got it. That's a banner. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. They're banned. Yes, thank you. I couldn't keep up with the chat, and obviously there's a reason here. So yes, if we see it keep coming up, please feel free to interrupt at any time and let me know. But yes, what did you like, Gio? Since you're just popping in here, what were your thoughts on like assuming you saw it in IMAX, did you see it where it did that whole transition, and what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I thought that was a game changer. I was actually surprised, even during the first sequence. I'm like, there's a lot of extra footage. I was almost like, there were like the seats in front of me were even like blocking just a little bit of picture. I was like, so it was crazy. I thought it helped those scenes out a lot. I can see what you're saying, how like maybe not for every scene, because there are some beautifully, some shots that like the compositions only work if it's like that traditional aspect ratio. But in those sequences, I feel like expanding upon it, you're really getting that action. I thought it was great.
Yes.
That was a great, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was so like caught up in it, I forgot to watch for the change. So I didn't even notice. Next time I'm going to have to, because every time I see it, I probably will go in IMAX, because now that I've seen it, I'm not going to downgrade.
Honestly,
unless there's nothing else, unless the movie takes over the screen and I can't get in.
Right.
Yes. Like it was that much, and I just felt like I noticed more things. I felt like it was more clear, and I don't know if it's because that theater was loud that we were in.
For sure. IMAX.
And the music,
IMAX,
I'm obsessed.
They definitely pump it up.
Yeah.
Obsessed with this soundtrack. Like, I love it. Zurg's theme is game-changing. Like, I'm like, okay, I feel like that's my theme in life now. Like, when I'm, like, angry.
My theme in life.
Like, I can just hear it, and I'm just like, yes.
Yeah, Zurg's.
One of my biggest pet peeves is a movie theater that's too quiet. We've all been there.
Yes,
Yeah.
there are times where you feel like you need to go. Well, it can go backwards the other way, because there are some times where it's like so loud it's disturbing the other way, where you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm being attacked.
Yeah.
Well, there was only one time. Usually, there's not too loud for me. The only time there was one time that it was cracking the speakers. There was a crackling sound. So when it gets to that point, yeah, it's too loud. And it's super irritating. Yeah. But for the most part, it can't be too loud for me.
Yes.
Same.
So yes, we've got Josh that jumped in as well. Happy to have you along, Josh, as always. So let's talk a minute here about box office. So there was a little bit of... There's these articles that are coming out saying, the expectation is that it was going to be within that 70 to 80 million domestically, and it ended up within the 50s. So, and there's, folks that are saying, like, this could hurt the chances of sequels, and I already heard someone else, and Brendan had posted this question, how is this a 51 million? I didn't want to get there yet, but I saw it, Brendan. So what are our thoughts on the theatrical performance of this? Is it a disappointment just because it didn't meet, I'm air quoting, expectations? Because sometimes expectations bug the garbage out of me.
Yeah, well, especially in this day and age, it's
Yes!
hard to really know anything anymore about what's it going to make. Yes, we know it's a returning character. We expect higher, but also there's still a lot of factors in play. So we're not in the normal world
And one of the
anymore.
factors that I want to talk about, and I know we're going to get to it, is the people talking about Tim Allen.
Okay.
I literally can't.
I don't really want to talk too much about it because it's been talked about.
I know.
And this group, we get it.
I know.
But it is interesting.
But I've seen article after article after article. I'm like driving in my car and Sirius Radio is talking about it. Like, why isn't it? And I'm just like, I literally wanted to like take my screen off my car and like throw it out the window.
I know.
Like, it's different.
It disappeared for a while. Like, everyone got over it, and then now when the movie came out, people remembered, and then they started going, yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's definitely one of those things that I don't know if that played a factor in the bottom line, though.
No, I don't
Do you think it played a factor in the...
No,
like,
I honestly
like
think
some people were like boycotting it because of that?
No, I think it's just this like coming out of a pandemic kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, we want to see Top Gun Maverick. We want to see Jurassic World, and we haven't seen it.
Right.
But we've seen Lightyear 3 times.
Well, some of that is also, like Dan said, when you have a younger kid, you have to kind of siphon which movies you go to.
Yeah.
And knowing Lightyear was coming up, I'm like, well, Top Gun's going to have to wait.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to need to use my days to get other people involved for that. So,
not to mention the whole... I mean, there's a whole... but like the streaming element, people just expecting now, I'll just wait. You've got all this content for the last few years that people just think, maybe I'll just wait it out. So now that you know that'll be an eventual option.
So did Disney or Pixar potentially sideline themselves a little bit with training people to go to Disney Plus? Do you think that is a potential factor for it? Like, are people like, oh wait, this is in the theaters? I thought all this stuff went to Disney Plus now. Is there some of that, do we think?
So this is exactly what happened when Solo came out, as far as Star Wars. There was some controversy surrounding that. There was a new actor playing the title character, similarly to here. There had just been a Star Wars movie that received backlash, and this movie has received totally different type of backlash, but there has been some backlash for various reasons. And people were blaming this on the poor box office or the box office failure for that. They were blaming this. They like literally nobody could crack the code of why it failed. There were so many factors. And I think this is the same way. I think all of those things that we've talked about play somewhat a part in this. And same with Solo. I think it was a combination of so many things. It's hard to really pinpoint it and narrow it down.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think...
and they were expecting that to be big, too.
I think Joe has a good point with this part, too. Besides the expectation of it coming to Disney Plus, it may have also been too far of a stylistic shift to capitalize off of the casual Toy Story fan. Because it is kind of like that aged-up Marvel-y look of that world. Mm-hmm. So maybe there's some of that. Like you said, Dan, it could be a culmination of a million different factors.
I absolutely think that's part of it too. You can't narrow this down. There's so many things that I think that I know they were banking on this movie, and with that IP of the Buzz Lightyear, it seemed like such an obvious, huge epic sci-fi adventure with Buzz Lightyear. It seemed like and obvious when they have gone all out with the toy line, as we've seen. They went all out with the marketing. We've been seeing TV spots and promos on Instagram for weeks and weeks now, just like boom, 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 boom. They had that huge premiere. There was so much buzz.
Buzz.
And yeah, I'm not the only one that uses that. But they were absolutely banking on this to be huge. And I can see how this could be considered a disappointment for now. It's just opening weekend. Usually films drop at this point. They don't usually go up from here.
Right.
Usually there's that second and third and fourth weekend drop. So I don't imagine it's going to go up. The only thing that could bring it up is word of mouth, and I honestly don't think it's getting that either.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think there's, like Brian is pointing out a good point. Lightyear had the biggest opening weekend for an animated film since Frozen 2. So
I saw that article. Yeah, I mean, that was a positive spin. Yeah,
that is definitely a positive spin. And, Roblox Robot, whether or not we agree with it, the same-sex kiss had a hand in box office results. And, I mean, that is...
It absolutely did.
Whether we want to...
I know tons, just in my circle, that are not seeing it.
Yeah, so, I mean, there were definitely people that follow us that started commenting after we left the theater because, I've got a rainbow watch band.
My watch is
and our son had a shirt that had a rainbow on it. And, there were people that are like, I'm not seeing it. And it ended up going to their channel and seeing what they said. It had a hand in it.
But can I bring up something?
Well,
hang on.
That? I don't think it was a $20 million hit, but
no,
we'll see.
It's one of the many things we've talked about.
It is a factor. Whether Chris Evans came out and said, eventually those people will change the way they feel. But with this being that, it's a factor. It's a factor. Whether we agree with it, whether they agree with it, it's a factor. Go ahead. Sorry.
So, I saw this tweet, and it had a bunch of images that had the Simpson characters, same-sex Simpsons characters giving each other kisses, like in a joking matter, like Homer kissing Moe or something like that. Mm-hmm. But that's okay. That's never been canceled because it's in a joking way. But if someone kisses someone in a loving way, that's...
I understand.
We're
not going to get into that.
I know, but I don't know.
We're not going to get into all that.
But I was like, I saw that.
That is at so much of a deeper level.
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of comments here. I won't be able to get...
Because a split second in a montage.
It's banned in certain countries because of it. So, I mean, there are definite things...
nobody's going to pinpoint here.
Yes,
nobody's going to narrow it down here to exactly the reason. We can all have our guesses. It's literally just going to be so many factors.
Yes.
Does anyone know what Encanto did
on the opening weekend? We can put our...
Because Encanto came with that was paired up with Luca, right? Luca was released alongside Encanto, correct?
Not like the same month or
Not
anything.
the same, but that was the
that
Pixar
year?
film equivalent, right?
The one that went to theaters, whereas, Luca hit Disney Plus. Yeah.
So I wonder if...
It was the same year. It was, obviously Luca was June and Encanto was November, but yeah.
We'll get somebody in our chat that'll pull it up and find it for us, and then we'll put it in here. That'll help us out here. But while that's coming up, we want to also talk about the movie, right?
Yes.
So we talked about a little bit of the impact, how we felt about it. Now let's get into some of the specifics. And we've got, I have spent quite a bit of time talking about this. I've written notes, overseeing it 3 times. I've reread the notes that I took, in the theater. So I've got some things that I like. I've got some things that are of concern. And I know from pre-conversations that we've had that there are things that are out there. I think on the whole... Here's how I felt about it. So overall at the movie, if you look at like the overarching thing, Buzz reroutes on a space mission, and during evacuation ruins the ship. They get stranded on the planet that they end up naming Takani Prime. They have to get a new crystal in order to power their ship. and a series of test flights ensues. This is my summary of it. After 14 failures, the 15th time Buzz reaches hyperspeed. Oh, but each time he reaches high speeds, he ages minutes while everyone ages 4 or more years. After he's away, Zurg invades, and a group of inexperienced Zap Patrol agents and Buzz try to free the planet's inhabitants, which are now living under the laser shield. Zurg gives chase, and the gang, and Buzz, learn to use each other's strengths to defeat Zurg and free Takani Prime. Now, if I hear that, I'm like, that sounds awesome. And it was awesome. I mean, that was like, it's an action movie that sets up exactly what is going to happen here. So if I think about, like, at the story level overall, yeah, there was some quirks. But, Gio, what were your thoughts on the story overall?
Story overall, I really loved it. I thought all 3 acts were great. There's every sequence in the film, I got to say, even on repeat viewings, I was always looking forward to revisiting these sequences. I thought they all hit really well.
Yes.
Story-wise, there were things I was not expecting.
Yes.
That though I will say this, after again repeated viewings, things didn't bother me as much. I think I started to fall in love with the movie even more. That these things that maybe I didn't expect the first time around were kind of brushed aside. So ultimately, I thought it really worked, though, especially as like a introduction to Buzz. Like that's why we're talking about a sequel, because I feel like this is such a good starting story to expand upon even further. Because I know a lot of people, people wanted, we want more aliens, we want more of this, but I feel like this story was a really great way to introduce this Buzz.
So I agree, but I told her I had one thing that I think could have been different with the story. Like if you look at the very first Star Wars, the 1970s Star Wars, the first one, not like Episode 1. If you look at the first Rocky, a lot of those movies, when you watch them, now we watch them differently. But the very first time you watch them, they're pretty slow. There is so much world building. There is so much like character building and all these other things. I think the first thing that I thought of with this movie is I wanted to know more about the Space Ranger Corps and how Buzz became Buzz. So like they said, this is the definitive Lightyear story. And I wanted a little bit more about how Buzz truly became Buzz. We were inserted in the middle of a mission.
You wanted to see him in his cadet and rookie years.
Like, to me, I was like, okay. Like, so that's where the first thing kind of came up with me. And again, this is like me literally grasping at things, like trying to figure out why, like, there was some concern with this. Not all of it, but some. So, I don't know. Paulina, what are your thoughts on the movie overall? Was there anything that kind of stood out for you, good or bad, whatever?
Oh, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. I guess I didn't think about like what you were saying, because I went in already thinking, okay, this is the toy that Andy fell in love with, right?
Yeah.
So it really has to start with a boom. Here it is, action figure hero. And this is why Andy loved him. You can't have that character build up, his rookie years, because I think that wouldn't be like what Andy fell in love with right away as a kid, right?
You're right.
So
You're right.
I was happy with the way the movie was made. I loved it. Of course, the surprise later, I think the Zurg is the one that bugged me the most.
Yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah.
Yeah. But the storyline itself and stuff, I really appreciated it. I really liked it. I love the action. I love the stunning visuals. I love the characters. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So Scott, I'm going to put this up here real quick. Thank you so much for the super chat. It definitely helps us out. So he said, yes, TJ, everything you just said, I thought too. So Scott, we've said it before. We're often on the same page. We get it. But again, it's just an opinion. It's not like anybody's wrong or right here. Dan, what were your thoughts when you walked out of there and you said, hey, this was either this, or what were your initial reactions?
Well, speaking of being on the same page, me and you oftentimes are.
Yes.
And that's the case again. So many thoughts. Okay.
Yeah, pick like one of them for now, like an overall, and then we're gonna start going in through the story more a little bit. We'll definitely get to the Zurg Buzz thing.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna start there.
Yeah.
But okay. So first, I like the film. Okay. I don't want anyone to take away that I don't like the film. I like the film.
Yes, and I want to reiterate that too. I'm not dogging this thing at all. I've seen it 3 times, and I'm mad I can't watch it again right now. So okay, go ahead.
He's like obsessed. Yeah. Like just like he like is in love with this film. Like
there's a lot that we're going to talk about that I really liked. Okay, so sorry, Dad. Sorry. I'll shut up now.
No, that's fine. I like it. I can't say again. I've only seen it once. I can't say I've fallen in love with it yet. Yeah. But I have. I'll just say I have thoughts, and I have questions, and I'm not going to say, criticisms can have a negative connotation. I'm going to say I have thoughts.
I love it.
So my thoughts, my personal thoughts are, I come away with this very similar to you. The first thing is I did feel it was so fast paced that I did miss that world building aspect. When Star Wars came out, like you used that example, it was so defined. Like it was a 2-hour, 8-minute movie or whatever it was, but that world was so defined. Because like you said, it takes its time. Movies these days tend to just move and move. Me and my friend have this conversation all the time. They're just too fast these days, in my opinion. I would have loved to see things slow down as well a little bit. And like, especially with being a toy collector, seeing all the XL ships and all of the flight suits and all of these different things that we've been seeing in the marketing and the toys for so long, and seeing them on the screen for a blink and you miss it, appearance, just kind of took me by surprise. I was trying to keep track of the different ships and everything, because you literally would just see them for 1 second and it would be like a downward angle.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I got the world just moved very quickly, for me. Second of all, and again, this isn't bad. This is just my thoughts while watching it.
Absolutely.
This is what he was going for. Obviously, he wanted a very fast-paced movie, and that's what most filmmakers do these days. And second of all, you're right. I did feel like they set this up as the definitive origin story. That was what they've been talking about for years now. So it is weird to me that he is a space ranger already. There is no origin to him becoming a space ranger. It was more of an origin of his friends becoming space rangers, I guess. And also, as far as development, we know in this conversation Buzz Lightyear Star Command is going to come up.
Yeah.
The original film and TV series. I'm mostly talking about the film itself. So I liked in that development of that Buzz that he was given a reason to be, as we know in Toy Story, Buzz is already, he's cocky and he has that persona that Chris Evans perfectly captured.
Yes.
Tim Allen had that in the Buzz Lightyear Star Command film as well, the cartoon. But what I liked about the cartoon is that it gave him a reason to want to do everything himself. If you remember in that cartoon, he blames himself for Warp's death. And he doesn't want to get any other space rangers hurt in the process of his missions going forward. And that made sense to me. That was such a crucial development, part of his development in that show, because it gave him a reason to want to fly solo. In this film, he was just always wanting to fly solo and do things himself, only because I guess we're just supposed to believe that he's just super cocky and wants to do things himself. I just would have liked a little bit more exploration of maybe why he was the way he was, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was because he wanted to complete the mission.
Yeah, he was so narrow focused that anybody that told him otherwise, and I kind of had to come to that conclusion, but I had to come to it on my own and assume it. So I get what Dan's saying in that it wasn't explained. We had to kind of get there.
No, and I get he is the way that he is because he is the way he is. I know he wants to complete his mission. I know that's very clear. but it was just so hammered, like hit you over the head, where he just wants to do things himself, where you're just like, sometimes you're just screaming at the screen, like, just let someone help. There was no motivation besides him just really wanting to complete his mission solo or by himself. I don't know. So there were aspects, I'll just say this, there were some aspects of Buzz Lightyear Star Command, the film, the TV series, that I felt, I don't know, I just felt expanded the character a little bit more, gave a little bit more reason to why Buzz was the way he was. But overall, and there's tons more I have obviously to say, but overall, I like it. I have so many other thoughts and questions as we'll continue on.
Yeah.
But those are just my first thoughts. Is I would have liked a little bit more slower pace, a little bit more world building, and a little bit more of an origin to why Buzz was the way he was.
You know what's interesting is I've heard a lot of people talk about the pacing. I actually really liked the quickness of it.
So that's what I was going to say. I feel like I'm in the minority here because I loved how quick it was. I loved how quickly told the story and how it like jumped right into it. And I felt like, I know you wanted to see how Buzz became and see him and Alicia as cadets and stuff. I kind of feel like we saw that, but we saw that through him and Izzy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's being like cadets and then rookies and then becoming space rangers. So I still feel like we got that.
Yeah.
And I really loved the fast pace and in
and
the first 30 minutes,
said.
like we lost a huge character and I was like, I felt like I learned so much and I was like, oh my gosh.
There's something to be said about fast pace. Obviously, it's good to be quick paced in a certain sense. We know pacing's super important in film. But I was just trying to figure out a way to put my finger on it because I just left the film feeling a little empty, I guess you could say, like it was missing something. And I've just been trying to figure out, those are a couple of things that I've kind of, I don't know, thought through in my mind. But I honestly, to be honest, since like TJ said, we're going to be all honest and true here with our feelings.
Yeah.
I did feel like something was missing in the end. I know a lot of you are going to disagree. I know a lot of you feel like this is just the best movie of all time, and that's totally cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I personally was feeling just like something was missing. There was a little disconnect there. And also, I think that disconnect for me comes with, I don't know if I totally buy that this was a movie that Andy saw. It didn't feel like a 1980s sci-fi movie to me. It felt more like it was paced and more very modernized. It felt like a 2022 movie.
Well, I mean, it kind of has to be. Yeah, it's supposed to be in that time frame, but I get what you're saying, though.
I'm just saying there's a disconnect. I didn't buy that this was the movie that Andy fell in love with for Lightyear, or fall in love with the character Lightyear. If this was marketed as just a Buzz Lightyear solo movie that didn't have anything to do with Toy Story, just a fun Buzz Lightyear movie that wasn't connected to Andy or anything, I don't think I would have had that problem. But there was a disconnect for me there. I just don't know if I buy it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so we got our initial thoughts there. We kind of dove into some of the story stuff. I want to switch a little bit and go to the characters. The characters themselves, obviously we got quite a few new folks, in Socks, obviously. We got, Alicia, Izzy, Mo, Darby are kind of our main there. And then you've got Burnside and some of the other folks that are kind of on the perimeter there. So Paulina, I want to go to you first. Out of the characters, was there somebody that stood out or that you liked, whether it be from a vocal performance or about the character, them design themselves, or just how they were throughout the film?
I loved Izzy. I
Yes.
think she just brought so much charisma and enthusiasm and, that innocence that you need to keep going and trying new things and not giving up. And, so I really loved her. And then Darby cracked me up.
Yes.
I just like, I don't know. I just really liked him.
Yeah.
and then of course Socks. So yeah, so those are my three favorite. Mo was hilarious. And sometimes he was like, oh, aggravating me. It's just like, oh my gosh, stop already. But they all blended really well together, and it was good. It was good. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So so Mo, were you gonna go there?
Mo was like, Taika is amazing.
Okay, so to me,
Oh yeah.
Mo became a better character because of how great Taika's vocal acting was.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
definitely.
one of my favorites.
First off, all their vocal acting was amazing. Like, it literally sounded just like conversations. Like,
Yes.
that's just kind of like how you want to hear it, especially because it's a small cast.
Yeah.
And it was very fluid and very real. But Taika's performance was like
So good.
so good.
One of my
So was
favorites.
Izzy's though.
Taika.
Izzy and Chris. Like, they were all good.
They were
They
all
were all
really,
really
like,
good.
the
It's hard for me
core.
to say, like,
Yeah, the core group was really
and
good.
Pete, my gosh.
I know, Pete Sohn. How can a guy that got his start as, like, a storyteller and animator also be such a gifted vocal actor?
Gifted. Like, beyond.
gosh.
Like, and you know what's funny is because, like, we've talked about this before. Like, when we watch Bug's Life, I can only see Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I can only hear her
Yeah, there's been those characters that we can't disconnect from the person.
But I don't hear Squishy. I don't hear, Emil.
yeah.
I don't hear
No.
any of his other characters.
How?
How?
And you think you would because it's such a distinctive voice, but
Yes.
never.
Yeah.
He doesn't
disappears
change
in
it.
But he literally does like the same voice every time.
Yes!
But it's so,
But somehow he disappears into the role. I don't
yes.
know. It's the magic of Pete Sohn.
I know, I don't get it. And he's a director. I mean, like, come on. The dude is just too talented for his own good. We got to get rid of him.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, obviously. I want him to be at Pixar forever. I don't ever want to know Pixar without Pete Sohn.
I know.
It's kind of like a Bob Peterson, They're just part of the fabric. A Jeff Pigeon. They're just part of the fabric. So, yeah, Taika, I loved his when he finally gets the Zurg bot. And, yes. I mean, like, that was in the trailer. And then even like I thought it was going to be some kind of fun boot camp. It is not. You're like, I mean, it's just the vocal acting and performance, again, of another, like, director-writer is, like, so out of this world good. Oh, so good.
And him and Darby's, their back and forth, that whole movie was just great.
Oh,
And
yes.
building up to that last scene with them, setting that trap, I just love that the chemistry those two had, especially in that last scene.
Yeah.
I wouldn't step on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't step. Okay. Gio, how about you from a character perspective? Was there one that kind of stood out to you, or even anybody? Yes, ultimate Pixar fan. Yes. So yeah, how about you from a character perspective? Vocal, design.
Yeah, I echoing a lot because Sox was definitely. I think he was my favorite, but I mean, I really loved everybody. I mean, even we've said it before, but I think the whole movie, Chris Evans did an amazing job.
Yes.
I really never saw him like that. I thought, okay, we'll see how if I see Chris Evans a lot. Never did. I really saw Buzz that
Yeah,
moment.
agreed.
I was really surprised. Not even surprised, but I was like pleased with that. Like that he became so believable, and everybody else was just great. Really loved Alicia too. That was a character I really enjoyed.
Absolutely.
Who I attached to really quickly on.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was just really, it's really sad when we lose her. That's how great that vocal performance was. We really
Absolutely.
connected with her that quick.
Yeah, that was Leo's favorite. He calls her Hawthorne and then Izzy. So Alicia's Hawthorne, but he liked those two and Sox the best, and then Buzz.
Yeah, he was really bummed that that they got rid of her so fast. He's I liked their friendship. So that goes to show how good they made that connection. Believable, like you had said, Gio.
Because that hit home for him.
And yeah, I don't know how they did it with Chris, kind of what Ro is saying and mirroring what Gio you just said. I don't know how they did it. I mean, it's such a good job picking him. He nailed it.
And even like the iconic lines and stuff.
the one that I thought he got closest to was my ship. You know, like
Oh yeah, that was a good. Yeah.
I couldn't believe how good they got it.
Yeah.
So
Also, really quick thing. One thing I want to say about, look, we love like the lines and everything, but one thing I just laughed at really hard was when Buzz calls Darby elderly convict.
yes,
I love how he
That
was
was
doing
perfect.
literal things like,
it's
well,
like tuberous root man,
Yeah.
or help me prop up vegetable man.
Yeah, it was great.
I love that line.
They still brought
That was so Buzz.
Yes, yes,
Not robot feline.
yeah, my ship. Yeah, you're right. In fact, I made a note of that one too. That's some solid writing right there. That was true Buzz.
Yeah.
So guys, I saw Julie's giving me the tip if the bot's out there, and as soon as it comes up on our side, I try to get it. I know it because
Annoying.
they hit so many times. Some of them are going to get through, but yeah, we'll go back to elderly convict. That's so good. Okay. What do we want to talk about from here? I've got some Easter eggs. Gio knows that I thought I had the Easter egg of all Easter eggs today.
He had this crackdown with his whiteboard and his big maps and everything.
Yep. I thought I had it. Now, the one that I thought I had was the Tempest one. And then I'm like, yep, other people saw that. That was online. Then I think I have another one. And I tell Gio, I'm like, you're never going to believe it. It's like the greatest of all time. And like, he's like, oh yeah, Angus talked about it. I'm like, no! So, do we want to do a break from here? And for people asking to ban the bot, yes, I did ban the bot. They're coming in with a slightly different name. So that's why it's hitting. Do we want to
sending all the bots down?
That's wait. Oh wait, that's not what I wanted. You get a glockenspiel.
There we go. Thanks.
So do we want to take a break and do some Easter eggs, or do we want to continue on with the story, characters, and that kind of stuff? Paulina, what's your say?
I like to know the Easter eggs because I only watched it one time, so I would like to know where they're at.
Okay.
Pizza
And
Planet
which
truck.
one?
We know where that is.
Well, we got a question
I
on
know
that one
that
right
one.
now. All right, we'll do a couple of those, and then we'll come back. We'll
Can I
come
say
back.
where the Pizza Planet truck is?
Well, hang on, we're not there yet. when I get to that one, oh yeah, now everybody's saying it's a Zurg bot.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So the first one that we spotted, and you guys can keep us honest too. I don't know, did you guys write any down when you guys were seeing it, or?
He brings a notebook and a pen every time we see the movies.
Since I only saw it once, I never really focused on that the first time. The next ones I'll kind of hone in a little bit, but the first time I'm so engrossed and everything. That of course I saw some obvious ones and some lines that were obvious homages and the
Yes.
Tempest thing and the obvious ones, but the little things that are tucked in the corner probably didn't see them.
I cannot even believe it. I told her this is the first movie in a while that when I left, and I think this is a really good thing, I walked out, I didn't even think about them until an hour later. I'm back at home and I'm like, I didn't even look for A113 or the Pixar ball.
Yeah. Or Pizza
Right.
Planet
Or the
truck.
Pizza Planet truck. I only thought about that because somebody brought it up later. But I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Now, part of that is because it was...
and then obviously it was Transitron too, only because that clip was released previously.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
posted that on your Twitter.
If I was watching the movie and hadn't known that, I wouldn't have caught it.
Yes. So, okay, Angus did post a line out there. He said there's an obscure A Bug's Life reference line that's an homage in this film. Has anybody come up with that one yet?
No.
I tried so hard.
I liked
on
how
that.
someone tried to guess the berry thing, though. That was
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
Giovanni's got to do it because he's the Bug's Life aficionado.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so we were watching it second and third time. I was like watching, and me and Ash were like, "What is it?" Like we were like, there was a point where I wasn't even listening. I was just like dissecting every line after it was said, and
Yeah.
I still couldn't figure it out. Yeah,
I know.
He's gonna have to reveal it to us eventually.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to figure that one out. But okay, so the first one that we noticed, and we even noticed it in the home screening.
We did.
You did that Julie spotted first. was the Luxo lamp in the stars when Buzz goes on his first mission, XL-01.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He goes up in space, and there's the constellation of the Luxo lamp, just like
And
in
the
Toy
stars.
Story 2, in the stars.
Good eye,
Nice.
Julie.
Yep.
Thank you.
She's done for the night.
Guys,
Good night.
And you tried to take credit for that, DJ.
He did.
I said we.
Yeah,
I said
we.
we.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
so that made me remember something. So this is kind of going off Easter eggs for a second, but what Julie said kind of reminded me of this.
Yeah.
So since Lightyear is the movie that Andy saw, and it starts the way Toy Story 2 does with the text,
Yes.
does that mean Andy's video game that he has is actually an Easter egg to Lightyear?
Okay, explain. Because you're talking about
Because Andy's video game starts with that same text going across the bottom left corner of the screen.
now
That game would have been,
you're talking about when Rex is playing.
Yes.
yeah, the movie Toy Story 2 opens with
Yeah.
that text, and that's part of the video game.
Correct.
So that means that video game text down there would have been an Easter egg to Lightyear, because Lightyear was the movie the game would have been based on.
Whew. We're getting a little Pixar theory here.
Talking about-
Shut down the stream.
the Luxo and the stars made me think of it because it's the opening of Toy
Yeah.
Story 2.
Exactly.
Whatever, guys.
Exactly.
Whatever, guys, when you understand.
Dan's leaving now too. So Daniel Duval in the chat. No, Angus said it wasn't. He said he's like, oh, I didn't even realize that essentially. But he's like, no, it's a spoken line. So okay, so that's
Hammond.
yes. So that's that one. Okay, you want to go to your?
Oh, Pizza Planet truck.
Okay, we'll go to that one. So we can't take credit for this. This is from the Pizza Planet truck is from Twitter user and Aussie Gamer, and they posted this screenshot where Buzz has
This is when he breaks Socks out. Like he breaks his window and he's
escaped. He's escaped from the Space Rangers or the other police officers that are coming to get him, and it's in the style of the Buzz transport or the transport on Takani Prime.
and it's so noticeable in the scene.
Now. Yeah, not at the time. I didn't see it during it.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I love when we get Pizza Planet trucks that match like the world. I think that is the
Yes.
best.
Yes,
Little variation.
indeed. It's cool when it's stylized to it, like the ape and
Yeah.
a couple things like that. That's always a good one. Okay, so then this is the one that I thought, like, I got it. I just broke everything.
And Angus talked about it.
And Gio told me, he ruins it all for me, that
Sorry, but I should have said nothing. And then
no.
we all played it.
I'm glad you did, because I would have came on here and been like, guess what, everybody?
Breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news. So I remember that, obviously that, Angus has said he's from Portland. When I was watching the movie, I noticed that the two officers that come to decommission Socks have the last name on their back of Marquam, and Ross. And so I'm like, what could that be? So I start, and I'm trying to watch the other two officers that jump on the ship, and I see after, when Buzz is like, raise your hands, and they tell him like, put your hands up, and he flips the switch, the ship goes up like this, they fall off. The one guy, his back says St. John's, and so I'm like, ha ha ha. So I start piecing it together because I Google Marquam and Ross. That's all I did, and it brought up this, and it said Portland, and I'm like, wait, he's from Portland. So I started piecing it together. Then I start looking at the other bridges, and I'm like, holy cow, Hawthorne, Burnside, Mo Morrison, Darby Steele, and then Fran Kalal, who is a Pixar employee. The character is modeled after her. That the one that Burnside is yelling at, like, close the blast doors. And she's like, they overrode my override. Her name is Selwood. That's further south, within here. But yeah, all of these names are characters that are within the movie.
Very clever.
That's
Angus.
awesome. Yeah.
Give yourself a
Angus get a
glockenspiel for that.
Cool.
Thank you, Gio. I think I do
you
deserve
did do
it.
a good job.
Yeah, he did that all on his own, folks.
He did, and he was so excited when he came downstairs when I was making dinner tonight. And he's like, "You're never gonna believe it! I've just cracked the code."
I did. I thought I was so cool. And I told Gio, I'm like, I even made a graphic and everything. And he's like, oh, did you work up a whole PowerPoint? So I thought I should be proud of myself, and then
You should.
Angus already got me.
You're spilling your secrets.
Yeah, wondering who Fremont was since we got that guard as a figure. Absolutely.
We can't find that guard.
No, we've been looking.
And the figure has Fremont on the chest plate. So somewhere in the movie, I was looking for. It's funny. Speaking of things I was looking for, I happened to be looking for Fremont in the movie. My first viewing, I was like, "Which one is Fremont?"
Oh,
Couldn't find her.
Oh no, we were screen sharing when the bot was back. Ay ay ay. So yeah. Oh, 3 glockenspiels. I'll go with Kevin on that one.
Oh.
Maybe I should do a glockenspiel for each bridge. No, I'm kidding.
do
Do you
the other
want to go
one.
have our own hangout, or?
Yeah.
Hey, I gave Gio a glockenspiel. Dan, yours is coming.
He did. Yeah.
So okay, let's talk about the another one here, and verbally you guys can tell me if there's something that comes up. But I'm gonna come back here for a second. I'm gonna roll up my sleeves here a little bit. I then went to Gio with another one I found, and I'm like, "Have you seen Angus say
again.
this?" Here we go again. So, as I'm looking at this particular scene where, somebody pointed out that they saw Mo, they saw a green alien. I'll zoom in on this a little bit so you can see it here. So you've got Bernie up here, and I put his picture here. Obviously, you've got the green alien Pixar statue. It even says it looks like Pixar on it. Yeah. This one I thought was pretty clever. So I assume that when people said they saw Mo, that it's because of like this Mo coffee maker, which, by the way, can they please make that?
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
I would buy a Mo coffee maker. But then I happened to also notice his coffee mug, and I was like, oh, really? Is that the symbol for the Marine Life Institute? Why, yes, it is.
Very nice.
So this is the Marine Life Institute logo that's on his coffee mug. So that's the one that I'll give myself the real credit for.
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
Good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it, TJ. Do the thing.
Do the thing.
Yay.
Or Johnny from MU. Do the thing.
Do the thing.
Yeah.
You're my hero.
We gotta get that soundbite now, and from now on we'll do the thing.
Do the thing.
Way to go.
We should also just get this guy hates charity just because it's awesome. This guy hates
That always
charity.
comes up somehow.
Yes.
One of the best lines.
Okay, so Mo does his after Buzz is saved with the capacitor. He looks over and sees the vending machine.
Ooh, snacks.
Oh, snacks. So he goes over and gets the sandwiches. And in there,
Juicy fingers.
yeah, that's the best part. You'll see castle cookies, which have the Poultry Palace design on them. Now, that one I saw in the theater. The other one in there, I did not see. So I haven't seen this. You guys will have to tell me if you saw it. But there is a water bottle that is branded Wade Water, which is the nod to Elemental, the next Pixar movie.
Yeah,
So-
I've seen that one circulating. I didn't
Yes,
see it,
I saw
obviously, in the
it.
film, but I have seen it since circulating around.
Yeah, so I couldn't validate it. That's why I didn't know if anybody else had actually seen it.
I think I've seen a screen. Someone did post a screenshot.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I did see it. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Wade's Water. I thought that was a pretty cool place to put it in there. the Easter egg you showed from Finding Nemo in the dentist office. Yes, you did. You shared it on here before. Wade Water. All right. Oh, and then, okay, so Toy Story 995, you saw it. Gio, you mentioned this one that you saw it, especially I think in IMAX. Now that I'm remembering, you say that the Scream canister.
Yeah, I don't know if that was, we could have saw them in like a trailer before, but when they popped up, I was like, holy cow, I was so excited.
Yes.
Just
Yeah, I didn't see those. I've heard about them since, but I didn't see them.
Yeah, so it's when they...
That's the only Easter egg I found.
Okay.
That's the only one that I saw.
Nice work,
They're
Paulina.
pretty big in screen though. Like in frame, it's that shot where Buzz suits up, and then when they find the suit, and you have that shot of Socks looking up at him between his legs. I mean, these canisters fill like a majority of the screen, but of course you're looking at Socks.
You're looking at Socks, and you're thinking, well, hello, look at that callback to when Woody's there, and like they do the pan up and everything. So
and then the canisters look they just, like Ash was saying, they look like they belong there, like you wouldn't even think to.
Well, and then later on they show like the stuff that blows up, and it looks kind of like the canisters too. So it all kind of blends in there. So yeah, did anybody find the Luxo ball? I have not found it yet, and I've seen no one talk about it online.
Or A113.
Or A113.
The thing with A113 is there's so much text on little buttons and stuff.
Yeah.
It could be anywhere,
So, and you noticed it.
Well, I noticed a lot of like 114, 115.
Yes.
Oh, in the window, right? In the
yes,
back?
for Burnside's. Yeah, and I'm like, where?
And so the only thing that I got sort of close on is that when Izzy puts on Alicia's outfit, that's number 1, and standing next to her is Mo Morrison, and he's 13. So when you see like the graphic come up of their name and number, it's 113, but I can find no A.
Interesting.
And then Darby is not like anything that lines up. She's Tempest, which is 75. So I'm like, darn it, I can't find an A, even though you've got 01 and 13 right next to each other.
Going back to the vending machine, there's been several Pixar movies, obviously, that feature them. We have like Monsters, Inc., Toy Story 3. Was there any other brands or labels from any of that?
I couldn't see. Now I didn't see a screen cap of it, so I didn't get a good enough look. But
that'll be a good one for when it's available to buy.
Oh man, I know. Can't wait to check out.
There's got to be something out of all the vending machines. I mean, obviously, Monsters at Work ended up being Disney, but that had vending machines all the time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ro, we'll see you later. I understand that you got to run for now, but Christian too. What the heck? Everybody's leaving. Okay, all right. I shouldn't post this, but I'm working on this. Has anyone cracked the code for the language on Zurg ship? I am in the process of decoding it, and all the shirts that have Zurg writing on it. Yes, so there's many sources that you can get, and one of them is where it says self-destruct mode. It starts in Zurg's language, and then self-destruct mode comes over the top of that in English. So it's a 1-to-1 match. The Art of book has some. The Magic Ink that Dan, you did on your YouTube channel where you do the Magic Ink and reveal all that. There's some in there. So I'm doing that, and I can't wait for the Blu-ray so that way I can freeze frame all those and translate everything in there.
Dang, look at you, man. Look at you.
The alphabet conversion is already underway.
Very impressive.
Yes, so that one will be coming soon. And yes, Eric, yes is right. Yes. I told her that in the theater, and I'm like, I'm going to translate this. I'm going to know how to speak Zurg.
You just need to make more friends within the studio, because that would save you so much time. They could just tell you all this stuff, man.
Tell you.
Well, yeah, but
it's more fun to crack it on your own, right?
Yes.
I know it is, but man, that is a lot of time.
I mean, any spare moment I have, I'm trying to especially leading up to these, I'm just sitting there like, what can we Google to try to make a connection? Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Okay. Ultimate Pixar fan, always with the tease questions. Do you want to know something about Darby? I mean, sure. Throw it out there. Let's see if it's good. So, okay. Is it Swirly Straw Studios? Is A for Alicia the A?
That's what I had said.
What was it?
Yeah, the other day.
Oh, the other day? Whoops. I don't know. It feels like it's got to be displayed to be a proper Easter egg, right?
Because it would have been A Hawthorne.
Yeah. I feel like that's... we talked about this one, James. So the name is Tempest on the name tag when she puts it on. And Buzz was called Tempest from Morph. Now, here's something that Angus shared today on his Twitter, which I thought was pretty cool. So we saw that Buzz and Alicia have the green chest plate, and so they are official Space Rangers. We know from Featheringhamston that the red...
Stop saying that, by the way.
Thank you.
Was that a bridge?
No. Oh, darn it!
Wow. It's so close to perfection. You left out...
All right, I'm going to have to figure out what Featheringhamston is from, because maybe it's two bridges. Maybe it's two streets.
Maybe.
Two intersecting streets. Who knows?
Okay, some Pixar employee has... Somebody from Pixar has to be watching this. I need to know. Put it in the chat. Text me something. So I did. Angus messaged us, and we told him we were going to be looking for some of the Easter eggs, and he's like, well, have fun. There's a ton. So, where were we going with this? Featheringhamston. His outfit is red, so he's a rookie. And somebody else asked the question, well, hey, wait a minute. What is the blue that has Tempest on?
Oh, that was a cool fact, yeah.
Yeah, and he said that the blue is either, what was it, mechanic?
Medical or science.
Medical or science, yeah.
Medical. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool one, too. I was like, look at all these things we get to learn about the world.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Can we start talking about the
Buzz Zurg thing?
Yes.
We have to. The other thing, I mean, we're not going to talk about all the Toy Story callbacks because, like Dan said, there's countless that go to Toy Story 1, 2, 3. But I thought it was cool that his final mission log in this movie was 4071, and his first one in Toy Story 2 Toy Story 1 is 4072. So it's one digit higher between the two movies. Yeah. So the toy picks up where the movie left off. I got to mention it because Gio texted me about it too. If I was excited about the Mac startup sound with the armadillo starting up.
I did hear that.
Yeah, I was happy to hear that.
Like in WALL-E.
Yes. Yeah, it reminds you not only of WALL-E, but Apple, and you can't go wrong. Is Angus secretly watching in the shadows to the left? Maybe.
That was almost as good as a Geo comment.
Hey, wow. Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so then yes, let's get back to the Buzz Zurg Buzz Zurg Zurg Buzz thing.
Thoughts.
So, okay, so I'll at least say when it first happened in the theaters, so it's me, my son, Julie. I literally look at her and my jaw legit was on the floor.
Yeah, he looked at me and made a noise, and then I looked at him and I thought it was Featheringhamston.
Yeah.
I thought it was him until I realized what was going on.
I could not believe what I was seeing. And then my initial reaction was, holy cow. And the shock of it was exciting in a way because it was a twist that we heard nothing about.
Yeah, you would never really expected it. There was there was nothing really in the film that would have sort of hinted at it.
Yes.
Why would we expect that there would be somebody in the robot?
Well, we joked about it on one of these hangouts. That we were like, oh, they would never do that. A guy inside controlling a giant Zurg. And then, sure enough, there it is. But okay, so that was my initial reaction. You were kind of like, wait, what's happening? I don't understand. Why? What? Who? What was your guys' thoughts? And let us know in the chat what your guys' thoughts were, because I'll post some of this. See you, Zurgy. Because I want to know what you guys thought about it. So, Paulina, what was your initial reaction when you saw that?
Oh, gosh. Shock. like, because you know how the light turns on, and I mean the for Zurg, and the door starts opening up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's someone in there. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, who's it gonna be? Because I just thought Zurg like was an evil robot, just and I was like, oh my gosh, there's someone in there. Who's it gonna be? Oh my gosh! And then when it was who it was, I we have to be honest, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes, please.
I, I was a little shocked and a little disappointed, you know. But I mean, it goes with the storyline, and I get it. But I just didn't want it to be that. I don't know. I want it to be a true-on villain, or just be Zurg the robot, So it was a little shocking to me. I don't think I've even gotten over that yet.
Yeah, and there's like some earlier. There's a lot of foreshadowing when you watch this movie. That when you start, because I started to think about it on like the third watch, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Okay.
Buzz says earlier, I need a time machine to get out of this mess. And then like, even like foreshadowing of like the Zurg bot coming back to life that Mo hit in the head is like the foreshadowing of Zurg coming back. There's like so many things that you're like, whoa, this all does pile on top of each other and build somewhere, which is pretty cool. But it all comes back to, was it what we wanted for Zurg, for Buzz to be Zurg? So,
right.
Gio, what was your thought on this? And then we'll go to Dan next.
I was honestly surprised. I think we had a lot of build up to this movie, so of course you create these expectations in your head. You have a lot of hopes. So when it is different, it is jarring, and I will say the first viewing, I didn't know how I felt about it. I was like, okay. But as I watched it, the rest of the film, when he gets back in the suit, and then even afterwards, Zurg is still cool as heck in that movie. Every time I watch him, even after we knew who he was, after he got back in that suit and they're fighting in the in the cockpit in the end and everything, I was like, I still love the character. So I was like, I eventually just brushed to the side and was like, that's okay. This is the kid,
On our third viewing, when we got out, I said, Gio said the smartest thing that I've heard so far, which was, I didn't realize how much it shocked me. Then my body thought, I don't like this. And then it said, well, wait a minute. He's back in the suit and he's just Zurg again. And I just was like, okay, he's awesome again. Like, I just moved on. I just let it go.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately I landed on, I didn't want it. And we'll get to the multiple Zurgs or multiple Buzzes coming up. But Dan, what were your thoughts on it?
Oh boy. No, I don't. Just skip me.
No.
You guys don't want to hear it anyway. As soon as I start talking, you're like, "Oh, great, here he goes."
Downer Dan.
No, we want to hear.
No,
I don't know. I'm in the same boat as like all three of you. I had a little shock. I had a little disappointment. I had a little, having to get over it. Having mulling 4 hours after the film, keeping me awake at night.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So here it is. I think within the context and the world of just Lightyear, I think it's a perfectly cool, acceptable twist. Within the context of Toy Story and having Zurg be who he is in those films and how he's presented, and from what we understood from the Toy Story films and Buzz Lightyear, Star Command, the TV series, and all that kind of stuff, there's that disconnect for me. I don't believe, in my mind, that it's the same. The Zurg toy from Toy Story is based off of old vengeful Buzz. There's a disconnect again. I love what they're trying to say. I love how Buzz is his own worst enemy. I love the message. I love him overcoming it. Love all that stuff. It's all totally fine within the context of Lightyear. I just don't buy that Zurg the toy is that Zurg. And the only thing that I can justify in my mind is if maybe in Andy's world there is a sequel to Lightyear, and obviously, because what Angus has said is that Lightyear, it confuses people because they think that Lightyear in Andy's world came out in 1995, but that's when Andy got Buzz. Angus has said that it's actually an 80s movie that Andy would have seen on VHS. So the only thing that I can kind of think of to justify it is there was maybe a sequel and Zurg ended up maybe not. See, to me, this sets up that Zurg could be multiple things. It was Buzz at this point, but Buzz found that suit. He didn't make it.
Right.
So that Zurg existed. So other evil people could find it and continue on the Zurg legacy and become evil emperor and things like that. So the way I rationalize it is maybe this Buzz wasn't the final Zurg. There's other Zurgs down the road. That helps me rationalize things.
Yeah. Yeah, it starts getting complex. Yeah.
Right. And then I also know that Angus has said that, yes, in Andy's world, there would have been Buzz Lightyear, Star Command, or other animated spin-offs that would have changed the lore as well. So that helps me rationalize again. But I don't want to rationalize when I'm in a movie. I don't want to have to think of my own headcanon, you know? So that's kind of my thoughts. I like it, and I don't love it in the context of Toy Story and who we know Zurg to be. I kept on waiting for an evil emperor part. It just seems weird that on the back of Buzz's package, it clearly states that he's evil emperor. So when is that within the Toy Story universe? When was he evil emperor? Was this a comic book? Was this a TV series? Was it a cartoon?
Yes.
Well, it has to be the cartoon,
again, disconnect.
Right?
Yeah. So I kind of end like with that thought on what Kevin said. You know, he's 50-50 on it. Like I love the shock value. I loved what the boldness of that decision. The fact that they were willing to do that is awesome. And
I said, there was all those things that I said that I did like about it.
And I'm so glad it wasn't Featheringhamston. I'm so glad it wasn't Burnside. It just would have been cheesy at that point to me. It would have been like too like, okay, yeah, it's that standard villain.
Well,
you wronged lot. Yeah, exactly. You wronged him. Now he's mad.
You wronged me.
But
I'm with Paulina, where it's like I just wanted Zurg to be Zurg.
I didn't want anybody in it, period. I just wanted an evil
robot.
An evil friggin' robot.
Yes. Now say your biggest thing was the name.
Okay, yeah.
You can't get over that.
I cannot. Okay.
Are you mad that the name of Zurg came because can I
the robots were saying Zurg?
Please, yes.
Yeah. Is it because of the Zurg? You're mad?
Just how they said Buzz Zurg. Like, you're talking about he's traveled centuries in the future. They've got the greatest tech in the whole world. I have obsessed. You guys know, I thought about getting a vanity plate on my car that said Zurg. Like, the archivist at Pixar has A to Zurg, like as their license plate. Like, it's just, it blows my mind that, like, I have obsessed about this character, about the name, and you're telling me all this technology, the only thing we walk away from is, well, robots can't say Buzz around here, so I guess you're Zurg too. Excuse me?
Yeah.
Don't downplay one of my favorite character names of all time, and just like, oh man, so I that's the only thing in this whole movie that I can't find a way out of.
And yes, people are talking about evil Buzz from Buzz Lightyear Star Command, but it's not the same thing. That was not, he was not Zurg in that.
Right.
Also, can someone please explain, again, these are thoughts and questions, not necessarily bad things, but my question is, this mothership was floating in space. Buzz stumbles upon it. It's empty. There's not, like, why, where, who? Like,
well,
just I only saw it once. I'm honestly looking for an honest answer, like why he stumbled upon the ship and there was just a Zurg costume in there or robotic mechanism, whatever.
Well, he kind of says he borrowed everything, like all the tech. Now, great, that was also a cool line to Star Wars, but like,
so did he borrow it from the true Zurg? Is that the Zurg we'll be seeing in maybe a future movie if another gets made? Like, who did he borrow it from?
Who
does that Zurg outfit belong to?
Again, my interpretation of it, again, whether it's accurate or not is, up for conversation, is I thought it was that he borrowed tech from various things and assembled all this stuff.
But he pulled up onto a ship because they showed that.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like he stumbled upon the ship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean...
And basically, I would have loved to see a quick sequence of him, since he's kind of evil at that point. I don't know if when he finds the Zurg outfit, if he's evil per se, but I would have loved to see him infiltrate and maybe take over this ship and take the Zurg from somebody. It just seemed weird to have everything empty.
Yeah.
If it was literally just sitting there, I would have loved to see a quick infiltration sequence where he's coming through, wiping
he
out
used
the crew
other
or
technology to wipe out who was there or something like that.
And then take the suit from them. It was just there, from what I gathered from one viewing. But again, I'll have to see it again. Ask Hammond. He's the expert.
I totally. So, yeah, the Zurg thing. There was great humor with the Zurg bots. Whenever Zurg was mad and would walk by and, like, they would look at each other, you'd see their little red eyes come in. Like, I cannot get over how great the humor was in this film, though. I mean, I know I've got my things that...
And the theme. The Zurg's theme.
The Zurg musical theme, yes, you talked about it right at the beginning, but we were all walking through Target, looking at the toys, just like... like doing the music.
You also walk like him, stomping down
Yes. It was so awesome. Like, yeah. Okay.
So, anyway, that was Zurg.
I want to circle back to the buzzes, though. So, because we also talked about the fact that, there's the two buzzes. And these don't appear to be like... I talked to her, I'm like, oh, okay, so like in Back to the Future, Marty knows, like... Christopher Walken, his character. Why am I forgetting? It doesn't matter.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd, not Walken. Jeez, Pete's, I'm all over the place. But he's like, Marty, now don't let anybody see yourself. Like, he can't see himself. He knows that it would mess up his mind. And then, like, in this movie, and again, this is what's cool about sci-fi, though, at the same time, is that it can break whatever rule it wants, and it can be as imaginative and as big as it wants. But it also felt weird, like, wait, Buzz traveled back and forth in time, and there's now legitimately two buzzes. Does that imply that there's more than two buzzes? Like, how many buzzes are there?
That was another thing for me, is that in Back to the Future, it's very clear how there are multiple characters.
Yes.
How that ends up happening through time travel. It's very clear. Here it was... I'd have to see it again. It went by so fast, the explanation of it. It's not as clear as to why there are two buzzes as far as the time travel aspect. Mm-hmm. But again, someone in the comments can tell us, or I mean, you've seen it 4 times. You can maybe explain it. I don't know.
Right.
I like this, what Brian says here, that future Buzz borrowing tech from the true Zurg would answer the way that the robots say Zurg.
Well, that's what I figured, that it would have been someone named Zurg. The suit would have been Zurg, and that's why the robots call him that, and that's why the...
Right.
That makes sense to me, that there was a Zurg on the ship, but I just would have liked to see who that... I would have loved to see Buzz take over that Zurg or whatever.
Brian's going to help me sleep a little easier tonight. I like that. Thank you.
I do say I loved every time they said it, though. That's like a text tone.
I love the sound.
Yes.
Even from the trailers, they had that little sound thing. I was like, that's going to be an iconic little sound clip there. I could tell. Yes.
So I was like, I wanted Zurg to be more, and I think we talked about this in our chat. We wanted Zurg to be even further menacing. I know they probably couldn't. But I want straight up evil Zurg. I mean, like...
he was.
Evil
he was like,
yeah. Yes,
one was he super evil and one was he super.
Yeah.
And where was his cape?
And I get it. There's those moments like with, Vader. We obviously see him in time soften and become different. We see, Kylo Ren. He's got his moments where he's, this and that. But yeah. So I can't ask.
That's a perfect way to put it. He says, when does the timeline split? Because that's what I was trying to say is in Back to the Future, you see the moment where the timeline splits. We don't see that, I don't think.
Yeah.
That's what makes it confusing, I think.
Yeah. I tried to write down like verbatim like that whole explanation that future Buzz or evil Buzz gives, and I was like, even reading it now, I'm still like, wait a minute, so what happened? And I was also talking to someone else, and they were like, oh, was Leo confused? I'm like, well, this is the benefit of being a child. You just accept the reality with which you're given, and you just go, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You know, like, so that it actually worked out better for him because he's not overthinking it. He was just like, oh, 2 buzzes. Awesome.
Yeah.
But I know Angus also is super smart. He is super meticulous. He is super detailed oriented. He called this movie like Detailed a Movie or something like that.
Yeah.
So I also trust in him. Like if I asked him, I know that he would give me an explanation that made sense.
Totally.
So I trust in the film in that sense because I trust Angus. I've seen enough of him where he seems like a very smart guy and a smart writer. It's just definitely I still have questions.
And from talking to the crew when we did the press day, 100%. You know, you've got folks like Jeremy Lasky and, you know, that are doing the cinematography side of it. They have thought of literally everything. Greg Peltz, who designed Zurg, like they've thought of everything. So I do trust in them. I just think they ran up against timelines and trying to get a version of it that made the most sense without being a 3-hour epic.
Right. I also, do you feel like another kind of weird feeling that I got during it is, does it kind of make Zurg now in Toy Story seem weird? Like, does it mess with that? Does it make the toys seem weird now that we're buying Lightyear toys, knowing that it's old Buzz inside? Like, does it make Zurg weird?
You don't. It'd be hard to see Zurg and ever. I'll still see Toy Story 2 Zurg and I'll be like, that's just an evil guy.
That's just an evil guy. I love that evil guy.
Rule of the galaxy.
What I'm saying, I have to like compartmentalize that there's Lightyear and that there's Toy Story Buzz and Zurg, and they can't be the same. They just can't to me.
I do feel the same way a little bit. I did say... Oh, sorry. Are we boring you?
No, I'm just tired.
No, I do feel the same way. It has changed my perception of it. But I think I go with Geo in the sense that Angus said that this is the toy versions that are in Toy Story are based off of the animated series. So they could have done something different with that. They could have.
They do with toys all the time.
The normal audience that's watching this isn't like diving as deep as we are, and they're not saying the opening text didn't say, in 1995, Andy got a Buzz Lightyear from his favorite movie. This is that movie made in the 80s that Andy saw on VHS that was then made into an animated series that Andy fell in love with and bought the toys from.
Well, and this is...
Just like Star Wars explaining
it. That's funny, too.
Well, so they had an earlier
20 minutes of...
They had an earlier version
I know, a whole crawl.
that was longer, and they were going to do it. And Andrew Stanton came in and said, that's too long. It's got to be... pared down. Was that in the documentary that they said that?
I saw that in an interview somewhere, right?
Yeah, that's what it was. He said it's got to be 3 lines.
Aren't thinking it through that much and justifying it that much. So to them, it's Toy Story Buzz and Zurg and Lightyear Toy Story Buzz and Zurg, and they're believing the text, literally thinking Andy saw this movie. It's based on that movie. Why are they so different? Oh, then you have to rationalize. Oh, because toys when they come out have a different voice actor and they look different. They're more stylized and this and that. And there's just a lot of like having to figure it out. And we do that here. And that's what we're doing now. And we love diving into this stuff.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling it just confuses the heck out of just your average movie going audience.
Yeah. And so like Eric is coming in with what we talked about in our chat. And in fact, I saw Angus mention specifically the Ghostbuster line.
Because we were talking about this before.
I think of it like that, but I'm just saying most people aren't thinking.
I agree, 100%.
Right.
The average
it makes
person...
sense to me. I'm a toy guy, I'm a cartoon guy, I'm a live action guy, I'm a Star Wars guy, I'm an 80s guy. Like, I get all that stuff, but we're a very specific niche that gets that kind of stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, we definitely... The average consumer just consumes it and moves on.
Right.
Well, you still had people when the movie came out and they said, wait, so this is based on a guy who was in Andy's universe who went to space, right? So we still had people who So there was still a big disconnect. You're saying, you know.
Well, that's because I feel like the way they originally described it was kind of like that. The real Buzz Lightyear, who was a young test pilot, like they kind of originally started it that way. The origin story of Buzz Lightyear, the real man who was a test pilot. Like, I mean, that's technically what we got, but it does make it sound like he's the real astronaut, a real life astronaut,
right?
In their original description of it, if you remember.
So, do we think there's going to be a sequel that's going to come of this based on the post credit scene?
Would love it.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to explain Zurg.
Yeah, I agree.
Zurg needs a proper exploration.
I feel like it should be called Zurg. Like,
Oh, please. You title that thing
I need to
Zurg.
see proper Zurg that I know and love, who is the evil emperor, and not Buzz, evil Buzz, a new Zurg that takes over the suit, or the original Buzz, or the original Zurg, whoever Buzz got that from. I feel like they need a sequel to kind of fix Zurg a little bit for me.
Yeah.
And then Dan and I can sleep at night. We can look
Exactly.
Zurg.
Right now, it's like, oh.
Yeah, so I really hope they do it. I truly hope that this doesn't, like, their expectations of what analysts thought that the film should have made.
this is weird times.
I thought it. I don't think it should influence it. I hope that it doesn't. I'm gonna just real quick. I like what Josh had said. You know, that he said it's like Spider-Verse. They're different origin stories. There's the movie, the cartoon, the toy. I mean, there's lots of reasons. There's lots of ways you can go about it. But in the end, I hope they do make either a sequel. I've got so much more. See, like, my brain is exploding with all these story ideas. I love it. Like, the fact that this movie starts with a science mission and the Space Rangers are, like, escorting them through space. That alone, I'm like, I want to know what the science mission is, what they're looking for. Why do they have to have protection going through? Why would he go off course and just explore this?
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
This planet with a team of hundreds of people. I do like that they did not go back to their home planet in the end.
Yeah.
I was satisfied by that because after
that was
all
just
those
his
years,
home planet.
that was only his home planet at that point. Everybody else had been born on Takani Prime. So that part was very satisfying to me.
Did you guys feel like it was weird. The scope of the movie seems so big when you're looking at those wide shots and you're looking at the landscapes. And generally speaking, it feels so big. But yet, for a Buzz Lightyear movie, did it feel a little small too? Like, they're on this one planet. I feel like for Infinity and Beyond, it was very, very small and condensed to one area. When I feel like even the cartoon movie in that 120 or 90 minutes feel like you see more of the galaxy even within that. So I might have liked to see a little bit bigger scope in terms of story or locations.
Well, I get what you're saying as far as, like, it's part of, like, that Space Ranger training that we're talking about. Like, you would see a lot more of space. You would understand, like, all this world and what's going on out there and everything.
And that's why maybe a sequel could help with that too. I just felt like this story was very contained into one small area, and maybe we could expand a little bit out a little bit.
And I think that would be a wonderful thing to get into. People are, yes, Dan.
That could have been the idea going, you know, them even thinking of a sequel potential. They say, we want to keep this, you know, a little more grounded this first round.
Yes.
Hoping to get, they have somewhere to go in a sequel. Because I feel like once you have this smaller origin story, you go to these other planets, you see these aliens, Star Command becomes this big thing, the Space Rangers, we start to see aliens coming in and become part of, you know, the Space
no aliens
Rangers.
was weird too, having it all be humans. I mean, just because we're so conditioned to Buzz Lightyear Star Command, there's very diverse, and it's not diverse as in human ethnicity, but diverse, and there's lots of alien species and stuff like that in that series and things. But
then
like
that's
that.
like where something it could go. It could.
Yeah, because I feel like even the Buzz Lightyear movie, the cartoon, the of Star Command, that's a quick movie. It's very short, and I like small scale movies. I like contained. I like intimate stories. I don't like things getting too wild and crazy like sequels normally do.
Yeah.
But again, there's just something about even that movie that seems like it covers more ground while still staying grounded. I don't know. I keep on going back to that movie because I watch it so much because Aiden, my 2-year-old son, loves it. So we watch it all the time. So
Yeah, you're
I'm
fresh on
actually-
it.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's actually kind of impressive. Like the movie's funny, it's impressive for kind of like a straight to DVD quality. But I do feel like I can't help but feel that almost captured what I feel of what a Lightyear show would have been in Andy's world. But I know that they were going for the gritty sci-fi feel here, and I like that too. So I'm torn. I don't know if anybody else feels that way. Like I like the Buzz Lightyear Star Command ride or the Space Ranger spin. That whole feel that feels very Star Command to me. I like the TV show, and then there's Lightyear too, which just felt not as much as what I would think of when it comes to Space Rangers and Star Command. I guess.
Yeah, so I think this can kind of come back to where I started as far as at the beginning with like, I feel like this is a second movie, and the whole world setup and building and the slower pacing that, you know, we kind of talked about and Dan agreed with and everything was like, this is the second movie. Now we need to go back and see the first, then we'll see the third. And
they're pulling on Star Wars. We'll see episode 1
Yeah.
of Lightyear.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
And I'm all for that. So, oh gosh, yeah, Josh just said we need to see him use his utility belt. Yes.
That too.
Standard issue.
So, so a couple other just observations and things that I liked, just to kind of rattle some off, and then if you guys have anything, we can touch on those too. I loved Buzz's ability to do the math when he got off course. That whole scene was amazing.
Yeah.
I loved seeing just the confidence, the precision that Buzz was able to do. I love that Angus's dad, Don, was the one that did the actual math for that.
That was cool.
So that's what's translated, and that's even in the credits. It says math by Don. I loved hearing just the audio work of Sox's collar. That slight jingle when you hear it brought so much more life to him. The details there were ridiculous. I liked the team coming together over time. That they needed each other and that it slowly built that way. I thought it was interesting that Sox is like, I can't find his dog tags. Like, I'll look for his dog tags again. Like, that's the tracker. His dog tags are his tracker. Which I thought, I didn't realize that. And it didn't even hit me the first or second watch. All of a sudden I was like, wait, those are his trackers? So I thought that was kind of cool.
And Sox had so many great one-liners. I just bought you 5 minutes.
Oh, I bought you 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
She's terrified of space. She should be. It's terrible.
Something about Sox that I wanted to bring up, and I know you guys caught this too, because it's an Angus thing. Did you guys see the similarities between when Sox is coughing up the torch and then Pez Cat from Toy Story?
Yes. Absolutely.
He has a cat thing, obviously.
Well, he said he likes cats.
He did the hacking up gag.
Yeah. Hey, Daniel Duvall is saying maybe there should be a longer version. Should we get a director's cut on the physical release?
Sure.
So
I could have seen a 20-minute more of that movie. Like I feel like it could have been longer for sure.
Oh yeah.
Some other you think so too?
Yeah, I could have.
Some other amazing stuff. Can we talk about, like, first off, the ships, the designs?
Yeah. Beautiful.
So friggin' cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
That's why I wish that we saw them, that they lingered on them more.
Yes.
Because they are so cool.
Yeah.
It was a really cool sci-fi
The
film.
teleportation discs.
It was.
Oh, so
That
cool.
was a cool idea.
Yeah.
That is so BA.
And now it's cool because I've had that
Bad
toy for a while. I
something.
didn't know what that accessory was, but now it's cool for my reviews. Now I know exactly what that thing
Yes.
does. I don't have to say, I wonder what this thing does.
Yeah. Like, it says, like, teleportation disc or whatever
Right.
on the toy package.
We didn't know what that was.
But it doesn't know exactly what it is until you, oh my god, and then they're chasing. And I love that they're, like,
That was
hovering, chasing him, like, Zurg.
Oh, see, that's the one thing I wasn't sure about.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I wasn't floored with the Zurg bots going this way. I kind of wanted them
Well, they had to because the ship only had hover capabilities.
I know.
28% out of 100?
I kind of wanted them to be at an angle. It didn't bug me,
Yeah.
but it didn't floor me.
Well, I guess that would tie into we wanted more stuff in space.
Yeah.
So, Okay, other cool stuff. We got that. I love just seeing all the tiebacks. The Terillium mine. It is a Terillium carbonic alloy. Like, I loved seeing the Terillium mine. Like, that was amazing. That Zurg jump scare where...
Oh, so many little jump scares.
Yeah.
It almost kind of kept it going. Like, you would just be like, oh, we're not going to see Zurg show up. We're like, oh, no, he's coming. He just blows up right behind him, blasts him. Like, a lot of great moments like that.
Yes.
And at the zap
Gio,
thing,
you
like,
just triggered something. This is a really important question that I needed to ask. Why? No, I really need an answer for this because, again, I've only seen it once. Why is Zurg first battling Buzz to kill him when he wants to talk with him?
oh,
He was... I don't think he was. He wasn't
He said,
shooting...
come with me at first.
Yeah, he didn't shoot at him until he started actually shooting... Like, until Buzz got that wrist thing and started shooting at him.
Okay, yeah, see, that was a sincere question. To me, I'm looking back at it, I'm like, why were they fighting when Zurg literally is him and he just wants to talk with him?
It's almost
okay.
and he even throws that big like crate at the door, but it's to block the door. He's not trying to hit Buzz.
Well, I guess what my question is, why does
When they're
old
in the
Buzz
ship?
approach young Buzz in the outfit anyway? Why didn't he just open it up right away and say it's me, Buzz, it's you?
It's me, it's you.
That wouldn't be a very
I
good
guess what I'm
movie,
saying
Dan.
is why why the need for the suit in front of Buzz and then have a battle if
Right.
you could have just opened it up?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
Never bothered me though.
it didn't. That one didn't bother me because I really
think about things
because I really felt like he was pursuing him to get him alone because he knew he was never going to be like he couldn't walk out there as some. I mean, I guess maybe he could have walked out there as some old man and been like, "Check out this cool suit I got back here," but I don't know. I there's something about the way it unfolded that I actually liked.
Well, then
Okay.
again, I mean, even Sox had to stop Buzz and be like, "You need to explain to him what's going on."
Yes.
Maybe he was just like in this mindset. He's like, "I got to get him. I got to get up there.
Get the crystal. We got to
and
do
then
this thing.
Old
Yeah, he's
Sox.
sort of like focused as normal Buzz is. That
Yeah.
he just is only thinking.
Zombie
of it.
Sox.
I need to see
died.
it again. If it didn't bother anybody else, then I guess I was just
He did.
confused about what I saw.
I was sad when Zombie Socks died.
Terminator Sox.
Yeah,
Terminator
Terminator
I like
Socks.
that. Hashtag zombie socks.
So yeah, I think I was kind of weirded out. At first, I was like, "Wait, there's two Buzzes and there's two Socks," but it's because they were both in the ship together, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason that there's only two of them. So I got over that. Our son did not like Zombie Socks or Terminator Socks.
Terminator Socks.
Holy moly! Yeah, he did not like him. He's like, because he liked.
Leo was probably the only person in the audience when he gets crushed. He's like, "Oh, thank God that."
Yes.
He really was. He's like, woo!
It was a little too scared him too much.
Yeah.
The red eye.
Yep. I wanted more, and again, this is just me being selfish. I wanted more of the ion blaster. I wanted more of the battle.
Yeah.
It'll get there. I need a sequel so I can see all.
Zurg.
Yes, with that I can see all this
Yeah.
stuff that I really want.
Hey, wait a minute, real quick. And Dan pointed this out when we had that screen. He was like, "Wait a minute, is this what I think it is?" How we had somewhat. We talked about the cape. We set our piece on the cape. We kind of got it in those wings that he had, that Zurg had at the end of the film, where we kind of got the faux cape there.
Yeah,
with the
so
black
what
and
was
the
that
red.
screenshot that I had?
That's just like his back collar that he has, and then the wings out from the sides of it.
Well, he gets his like big wings when he's flying in space. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I guess
it look,
so.
you know.
I see.
so
It all goes by so fast. That's why I need to see it again.
Yes, and that's what's good about it is you want to keep seeing it again.
But will he get his cape, Gio, in the sequel?
yes.
I still stand. I
Will
still
his legs become unibody?
no.
Will he have little rolling wheels?
No, see, I think that was a stylized thing with the toy. I believe they made the toy that way as a stylized thing.
I
So,
don't have a problem with that.
but I do think there is so much more to experience with the sequel because we talked about it on one of these chats too. When he gets the cape, is in my mind when he becomes
Emperor.
the Emperor Zurg.
Which is what I thought was going to happen in this movie.
But that's
I
why
was
I'm
waiting
saying,
for it.
but that's why we saw him come back to life. So now we can get the definitive Zurg story.
But I missed that.
Well, you don't get
I haven't seen
it.
that.
You don't get it this
I
movie.
I saw the end, or what I thought was the end, and I did not see that. And so I left wanting evil Emperor Zurg. I thought he was going to declare himself.
Write a
at
letter,
one point.
say you need
The
a
movie cannot be
sequel.
over without wrapping up Zurg.
Well, we are stating it here. We are voting 100% in favor of a Zurg sequel or a Lightyear sequel.
All
We-
in favor?
Yes, please.
All in favor? Bicycle horn?
Yes, please. Just to connect it more with what we know. I need it. Or else
Yes.
I'm going to be confused. Also, please, someone tell me why, and again, this is a sincere question, if going through hyperspeed ages or makes creates
Time dilation. Yes.
why do they not experience that when they're traveling through hyperspeed in the turnip?
That's not the same hyperspeed. Because
Okay.
if you notice in the hyperspeed in the turnip, they're going at a different rate. Now, that ship wouldn't be aerodynamic that it could A, go that fast, but B, you only see like ivory or white colored streaks, like the light streaks.
They didn't do the rainbow.
When he officially gets to hyperspeed, now granted, he didn't reach hyperspeed, but he reached like 85% of hyperspeed. And, you know, this percent of hyperspeed, when it hits full hyperspeed and he was gone for 20 some years, is when it was the rainbow, like
So
light
they were
streaks.
going slower hyperspeed. They call it hyperspeed, but they were going slower hyperspeed.
Now, did they actually say hyperspeed? Because I don't recall that.
I don't know. You saw it 4 times.
I'm assuming it was. I think it was just different because of their different
the
crystal.
crystal to go into hyperspeed, I think they said.
I think it was just
They needed
different.
the crystal to put the turnip in hyperspeed to get out. I'm pretty sure they said that.
But maybe
They
it was
do
think it
need
was
it. That's what powers the ship. But was it officially?
Because
Yeah,
at the
they-
beginning, they're going through some form of hyperspeed. So is time dilation happening at some smaller level then?
Cayman might have the answer
Well,
because
I was
they're all
just-
in hypersleep.
Yeah, it was just because they're all in the. It's just like Passengers. That you never saw that movie.
Yeah.
Where
I'm agreeing. Yeah.
where they're
But
all
why would sleeping
like,
make
sleeping.
not time not pass more? I mean, whether you're asleep or not, you're still present in the ship.
Unless there's some type of state where they counter it, where they
'Cause it
put you
takes
into
years.
like a deep sleep.
Okay. Sure.
Let's put it this way. I guarantee there's an answer for that. And part
That's
of
the
it,
thing. I know there is. I'm sure.
Well,
Angus
because
has
there
some
is.
kind of
Because did you ever see the movie Passengers?
Mm-mm.
Okay, it's like they put them to sleep because it takes like 8 years to get to this planet or something.
and when they wake up, they haven't
And
aged.
They haven't aged. That's like they're in like some weird hypersleep. And that's why, or it takes them like 100 years or something to get there, and then they're not.
It
gonna
doesn't age them. They wake up at the same age they left.
But Chris Pratt wakes up, and then he wakes up Jennifer Lawrence, and then
Yeah, and it's not like he has a beard or anything like that.
They've
He's this-
already died by the time the ship lands, and everyone else comes out of hypersleep, and they're still 30 years old.
I'll just trust it all makes sense, and I won't worry about it. How's that?
Yeah, Brendan's talking about that everyone was at the same speed, so relative to each other they wouldn't. But then they would be going back to a planet that the people would...
Yeah, I only understood that because of that other movie.
Yeah. So I believe that there is a real answer for that one. So Kevin, I know you got to run too. I know we're running super long on this one. Okay. I did think it was cool that Zurg, once we knew it was Buzz in there, like when he was narrating still, when he gets to the XL-15 and he takes the crystal out that he needs, he's like, that's Buzz Lightyear, or mission log. I am now finally in the possession of the crystal. I thought it was cool that it's like, oh, okay, it is really Buzz. He's narrating like the Buzz does. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a cool thing. Design-wise, again, I absolutely was obsessed with the slowdown rings.
Oh yeah,
Like
that was cool.
Love
when
that scene.
oh my gosh! And then the fact that they show that shot at the end where you can see him off in the distance.
Yeah,
Oh, and I
Gorgeous.
loved Buzz's maneuver to make it into the rings when he was going off course.
The math. Yeah, the math, ejecting it, like he planned all that.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, is he gonna see him make another mistake after like he keeps on wanting to do these things alone? I'm like, don't make another stupid mistake. And then he ends up doing it. So I'm like, oh, thank goodness, Buzz
Yes.
is competent. He could do something.
Yes.
So that was
Yes,
I was like,
agreed.
please don't make him fail again.
I thought it was cool that the final ship was like the armadillo, that they made the next version of the XL for the.
Well, and also shaped like the box.
Yes.
Box.
Yeah, absolutely. From that top down, like it had like that view there, which is cool. There was a lot of like that really, and then like all the satisfying stuff of like, just hearing that they're forming the Universe Protection Unit, like all those things wrapped it up in such a nice way for me that I was like, oh, cool. I'm back in that world again. I'm feeling those happy thoughts. It was a good epilogue to wrap it all up for me.
And we listen, Socks toys are great, but now we need a Socks in his Space Ranger outfit, okay? I need
Do I need
that
pants?
was-
Does it look
So-
silly without pants?
yeah.
Guys, check this out.
Okay, we're ready.
So he's in the chat right now. Your Pixar pals. He just sent me this image. They put the Build-A-Bear Buzz outfit on the Shop Disney socks.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That's
that is
awesome.
Amazing.
So boom, a custom Space
That
Ranger
is
sock,
great.
courtesy of Pixar pals.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Spiel that, TJ.
That is-
Yes.
Speaking of socks,
Very
is anyone
cool.
buying that? Is it
Oh.
Studio 7?
$400 one.
The Studio 7. Yeah.
7?
Super 7.
Super 7.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how awesome is that
It
thing?
looks great.
It's
So-
And it's
beautiful.
$400 without being electronic,
Correct.
I think we should
but it's
buy
cool.
My one thing is I wish, and it may have been just because he's slightly articulated, but I would have loved if it was flocked. If that thing was flocked,
I knew you were going to say that. That was my thing.
immediate purchase. I don't care.
Okay, so
Yeah, it needed to be a little flocked for sure.
I have talked to someone that said that they tried it, but it did not work on a larger scale figure like that with large body surface with the flock.
Yeah.
I can't validate it, but I have definitely, it's the first question I asked to someone, and I was told it was tried. It just,
I bet it was, because it's almost like you look at that and you're like, someone at least thought about it. Should we? Yeah, and I'm sure
Yeah.
it was something that didn't allow for.
I just couldn't believe I texted you guys. I'm like, that thing's 29 pounds? Like, or 25.9 or something like that. I'm like, holy cow. Like, I know that's probably with the box, but I like it. Of
But
course.
yeah, the merchandise is out of control out there. There's so much of it. They were definitely banking on kids and audiences falling in freaking love with this movie because
Yes.
there's a lot.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see a big toy line like this. I know you are,
Yeah,
Dan.
you know we love it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And
No
Hot
matter
Toys.
how I feel about the film, the toy line itself can be absolutely fun on its own as well.
Oh, you know what's funny about the toy line? When we were in Target, there was, so I kind of stalk and listen to some people when they're shopping around the Lightyear toys. I'll just be like looking at other stuff. And these two boys that were probably like 10, 11 came over, and they had clearly just seen the movie. And they were like, "Oh, look they got the Alpha Class." And the one boy picks it up and puts it next to the Armadillo pack that you have too, Dan. And the one boy goes, "But why isn't it in the same scale? I don't want it now." Because he wanted all of his toys to be the same scale. The Alpha Class is slightly bigger, but he wanted the Alicia.
Well, I'm hoping the 5-inch Alicia is coming too.
Well, because
I still stand by the 5-inch line is more expansive. It's,
Yes,
there's more
100%.
play value. There's you got the playset, you got the vehicles, you got the creatures, you got the figures.
Yes.
So I'm still behind the 5-inch line as far as just the sheer amount of what you get in that line. the Alpha class is definitely going to be more limited with the characters they come out with in the 6 and 7-inch scale.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the parks here.
I'm sorry, guy that was in Target.
Yeah, and then I clean the rack all the time too. So
He always
I
does.
straightened up.
So do I.
I straightened it
I
up.
worked at the Disney store for 4 years.
And that
Yeah.
Disney store blood where you're like, oh my gosh, what
Yep.
is this?
Me and
talks-
Gio.
There's another Pixar employee that he talks to, and that this person
We
cleans
organize
racks too.
We organize the car racks.
So I joke with them often. I'm like, well, he's organizing racks again.
And before I take a picture or video for like a reel or something, I'll straighten it out.
You have to. You have to. I mean, you got to have a good representation, right?
Definitely.
And the kid that values consistent scale is a Toy Story collector through and through. Absolutely. I was so impressed with this kid. I'm like, this kid's legit.
Yeah.
So,
Places.
okay, a couple other quick things. We spent so much time on the story stuff. The animation. Two things that I wanted to call out on the animation that were just wonderful is when Socks and Buzz are like hiding out. They're about to go under the tarp to get into the XL-15 when they're going to steal it. Socks' animation of his head when he moves is so good. Like just when Buzz runs off and then Socks is like, oh, he's gone. The realization of like, he does these three.
Yes. Oh my God, TJ. Yes. Oh my. I said the same thing to Ash. I'm like, there is a small little moment. I'm so glad you picked up on that. Well, that little
Yes.
acting moment. Where he kind of goes 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm
It
sorry.
was
Sorry
so-
to freak out, but
No.
I know what you're talking about.
Yes, it was so wonderful how
I need
they
to look for that next time.
how they animated that. And I also just love, and this is where you're just like, oh, when animators are good animators, it just warms your heart. When Burnside comes in and he's like about to replace Hawthorne's nameplate with his own, and he's talking to Buzz, he takes it in his hand and he taps it twice in his hand, like a sentence or two before he actually replaces it. But just, it felt so natural to see him go, well, that's great that you feel that way, but, you know, whoosh, and then replaces it. It was just, icing on the cake. It was
right.
it was
You're right.
it was a frosted snack cake to celebrate after missing 4 birthdays.
And Hawthorne dying.
And Hawthorne
I
dying.
know, how
But
sad.
yeah, so the jokes were so good too. The confetti cannon. Now in all the previews, tell me if I'm crazy, I thought that Socks was going to be the one because there were so many jokes in the trailers about people throwing up. And the one about Mo throwing up where Buzz tells him to, you know, push his lid closed
wasn't
so
in
that'll
there.
capture it. Wasn't in the
Yeah.
movie. But there's all these jokes about puking. I thought Socks was going to puke and his puke was confetti. That's just what I thought. So I was pleasantly surprised when it was the other. But I loved the continuation that every time the confetti went off, both times, Socks came out and coughed up more confetti. So solid.
Also, underrated character Ivan. Did not expect that character to be hilarious in this film.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes. Wonderful there. I love the design changes that as Ivan advances, it starts as a square, it goes to a triangle, goes to a hexagon. Like the shapes become more advanced as the technology becomes more advanced.
Oh,
yeah.
and the I'm drawing a blank now. Have we not touched on the robot that does
Derek
the mapping?
Derek. So
Also,
or Eric
yeah, so I asked
that became Derek.
I asked Angus, I'm like,
yeah,
what's
that was Angus, right?
what's Eric for? And oh my gosh, tell me I put it in here. I know I put it in my notes. Yeah, it's he thinks he's saying I'm not guaranteeing, but he thinks it's everyday robotic industrial companion. And I said, well, what's with the D? And he said it stands for death. Because once he's like wants to become, you know, like on
Evil,
the
that's why
Zap
it's
Patrol,
gotta-
he's gonna he's got like, I always love how he's like holstering his weapon too when he's gonna go to the map. He's like, and he like throws it in his little like front pouch. And like they're, you know, for as much as we say about this movie, when it's all said and done, when I walk out of the theater, when I wipe the butter from my face, I still love it. I only say anything about the story and everything because I just absolutely respect what they've done. And it left me wanting more. So
Right. All of us can agree on that.
Yeah.
yes, the toys were friggin' sweet. The movie is an adventure, and I love seeing an adventure like that. So Pixar movies aren't that bold and adventurous, so I liked that they took it and pushed it that far. So again, I know I'm backpedaling a little bit. I hate the fact that it started like with all these big questions and things we were like, wait, what the heck? Because ultimately, I'm walking away from this giving it a 9 out of 10. I was really like excited by it. There was little things like, Derek, robot kitty cat. You know, like, excuse me, gentle robot kitty cat. Like, and the Angus does the voice. There's so many things that are also so good about it. So please, if anybody listened to this and they think we're dogging it.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I prefaced it right away that it's not a dog. It's like we can have thoughts and questions while watching it and not
Absolutely.
dog the movie.
Yes.
And that's why I prefaced my thoughts was I'm not dogging on it. I literally, these are my honest thoughts coming that I'm watching the movie. These are thoughts that are happening. These are connections I'm trying to make. And you can't fault anybody for that. I think we all can agree that we really enjoyed the film, that we want more, that we love the toys, we love the characters, the music. It's all solid. There's definitely questions, and we do hope those get explored, but it's not dogging, I don't think.
Yeah, agreed. And so, yes, so all of this comes from a place of absolute love. Cayman, I didn't know Angus was the robot. Yeah, he's Derek, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Eric.
Oh, and Leo, our son, loves doing the South. Like how he says South, like as it's like, it's recorded separately.
Yeah.
He loved that joke.
God.
He's
When
like,
Derek
"Go-"
says shoot, that always makes me laugh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shoot.
Beep boop beep boop beep boop.
Yeah, all that with socks.
Yeah.
Oh, God. She should be. It's terrifying. We already talked about that line. Okay, two last things.
I loved, Don't Break My Cat. Socks, do you like that? I do.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's so good. So Scott's sitting at a 7 out of 10. Yeah, we've got some good rankings in the forum as well, all over the place. I mean, it has like it's one of those movies that it involves a lot of conversation and it stokes a lot of good and bad and questions and things like that. So it's great. It's great. Two last things that came up in questions were about how was everybody's experience with the Andy experience showing. So we all saw it that way, right?
Yes.
Oh, Gio, you didn't?
I didn't. I saw it the weekend before, and then
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, and then later on, yeah.
That's right.
And then the weekend of, yeah.
Yeah. So
my only concern with the Andy experience was that, like I tweeted out, it was very light. Like nobody was there. I was expecting to walk in. I got in pretty late. I was like 2 minutes before the movie was starting. I thought I was gonna turn the corner and it was gonna be packed, and there was like 7 people in there in the whole IMAX theater. So that was the only disappointment.
Wow.
I wanted to see it with like this rousing audience.
Oh yeah, ours had more than that. Ours had more than that, but
my theater was sold out. So
Oh, good.
Really?
Wow.
yeah.
That's
holy
great.
cow, that's how you want to see it. You're right, because
Ours isn't sold out. But there's like
So
50
it was
people.
cool, and I got the
probably.
art, but I would have liked that communal energy.
Yeah, for sure. I had the first public screening in the world. Okay. I doubt it. I think the people at Pixar did. Maybe you were there.
Yeah.
So, okay. And then the other thing is about the parks. So Eric wanted to talk about the parks, your Pixar pals. Do we hope that there's going to be overlays for Lightyear, whether it be temporary? Do we want them permanent? Do we see it fitting in somewhere perfectly? Paulina, what's your first thoughts as a constant park goer?
I wouldn't mind to see Lightyear. I'm having a problem right now with the character that's walking around at the moment.
Yep.
But I want him like the Lightyear that we saw in the movie, not like a person Lightyear.
Yes.
So if it was just like the other Lightyear, I think it'd be great. I think it'd be awesome. Absolutely, I'd love to see him. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure about Space Mountain, because Space Mountain to me is, that's my childhood. I don't know if I want it rethemed into Lightyear.
Right.
But if it
Like
gets
maybe an
rethemed,
overlay like they do with Star Wars.
Yeah, an overlay
Right,
would be.
that's fine
Like a
Yeah.
temporary
too.
thing.
Yeah.
I would really like
Absolutely.
that.
Why not?
I know a lot of people would not like that. Now, I'm not one of the people that's, and I know this is bad, I am literally not one of the people that's hold on to the past. I'm like, if there's a new property, rip it out and put a new one.
Yeah.
Like, that's just me. And I know that.
Yeah.
And I know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there's even a temporary, that would be so much fun to be able to just experience it in a different way.
Yeah.
And then for the people that want it to go back,
Absolutely.
it can go back to the way it was. That would be fun.
Absolutely.
So okay, go ahead with your question for Julie.
Oh.
We're waiting. It's a very special.
We're gonna sit here and wait till we get it.
Yep. Everybody.
Good question.
And Lorenz also mentioned Lightyear's wings. That's something that we haven't kind of touched on earlier as well. His jetpack. I do wish there was some teaser for that earlier, because all of a sudden when it just happened with his ejection, I was like, oh, there's his pack. Like, we knew it from that it was going to be there in the trailer, but I did want something ahead of it, like, oh, we're working on new tech. You got a jetpack now. That couldn't have been the one that was there in version 1, right?
I do like Jace. Mission Mars is the ride. That could be an awesome.
Yeah, that one.
That would
That
be
one is so
awesome.
easy
yeah.
to do too.
Hyperspeed
I mean, it's just
feeling, right?
great.
Like the
Yeah, just replace the
that.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, replace the movie.
I mean,
yeah.
the film.
Slap some little old Star Command logos. Bada bing, bada boom. They ready to go.
Bada bing, bada boom.
put Geo in charge. Just
Yeah.
do this, couple of tweaks here and there.
All right,
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
All right, everybody. Geo here. Just bada bing, bada boom. Make a couple changes, and you got yourself a new ride. We'll see you
More
later.
Socks. I need more socks over here right now.
Somebody get me a sandwich.
Ride needs more
Yeah.
socks.
Make sure it's meat, bread, meat. Okay.
A couple cucumbers.
Oh.
And
Awesome.
Jace, yes, completely agree with Zurg being weird now in Astro Blasters, or would be in a Lightyear themed one, because it just gets confusing. And then also, yes, the Lightyear experience Andy art is confusing. Also agree with that. if Andy didn't see the movie in theaters, if it was VHS, then he wouldn't. Unless he saw, like, I saw Star Wars in the 1997 re-release. So Andy could be watching a re-release of Lightyear in theaters after the events of Toy Story 2.
Here we go again.
Yeah.
And is there a digitized walking Jabba the Hutt in that version?
Yep, they added more CGI scenes with socks to make him more realistic and not as stop motion.
So Scott has wanted to know, he's talked about it a couple times, I'm just getting back to it, sorry, about Zurg's planet theme. Why was it missing from Lightyear? I think it would have been...
loved if that was missing.
Yes, I think it would have been
little
really...
nod to it.
If they could have had a nod. They didn't... Giacchino didn't touch on it.
No.
I don't know if it's like they didn't want to like have to worry about the legalities of it during like COVID. Like, okay, we got to get another lawyer in here. We got to have Randy to okay it. We got to have this person. I don't know if it was just complexities.
And I know they wanted to keep it very separate from Toy Story.
And that's true too. It wouldn't have made sense to have it as part of it.
Right. But I was waiting for it.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite themes ever.
Agreed.
And I was, because Michael he knows his themes. He is known for putting in nods, because he does a lot of sequels and reboots.
Yes.
So obviously in the Jurassic World movies and the Star Wars Rogue One that he did, and his different sequels and reboots, and Star Trek, all that kind of stuff, he puts in his nods. And I thought that maybe we would get that, even if it was subtle. But so I guess I wasn't the only one thinking that.
Yeah. I joked with Julie that I wanted the Toy Story 1 to 4 marathon, and then have it go right to Lightyear, but or even in between. But Giacchino, I think it did make sense, like we said, to keep it separate. Giacchino did do it on other features, but again, it's because it's a whole separate world. It shouldn't have. My favorite part, though, is the and I said it in the last one too. Right when he ejects the fuel cell and he gets back on course after he does the math. That part is so friggin' awesome. The music there, and I love that they keep it silent when he's going into hyperspeed, approaching 85%, and it's you just hear just that, and the ominous tones throughout it. God, there was so much good. Yeah. So much good, like, dark, evil. I just wanted it further. Maybe I'm...
I love how you go, like Miguel and Coco.
Oh, yeah! That's true. That's hilarious.
So I saw Ultimate Pixar Fans question. I'm not going to do an impression. I think that's very kind that you think I sound like Kate McKinnon. But I'm not going to do any impression.
If there's another Finding Dory sequel, and there's a fish that is Kate McKinnon,
a line on a Pixar film that would be like a dream.
Let's make it happen.
And the fact that you think I sound like Kate McKinnon is
I think it would.
Super kind thing to say because I adore her.
Yep.
But Lara said something about making that meat sandwich, and I was going to make it tonight.
Oh wait, where? Like way back?
Yeah, right there.
Oh, okay.
Has anyone
tried making that meat sandwich?
I was going to make it tonight. And I actually did have a ham sandwich tonight for dinner.
That's true, you did.
I did.
I mean, I'm never going to do it. That's disgusting.
Meat, bread, meat. Hey, maybe at the Disney parks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
go touch all the rides. Go touch all the rides with your meat fingers.
Juicy fingers.
Juicy fingers.
The best was the juice that was left on the table.
Yes. Yes.
When they were just like setting it on the table, I was like, "Where's a plate? Somebody get Buzz a plate
TJ.
for God's sake!" Yeah.
I know how TJ feels about germs. How did you feel watching that scene?
Disgusting. Literally, I took myself out of the movie. I watched that smear stain off of that table.
He can't stand ham.
And
I know it.
Fun fact.
Yeah, ham's gross by itself. It's too fleshy. I feel like I'm eating human. And then also, it's the germaphobe thing is a bit much. There's no way I'm picking it off a table. Gio's right. Get the man a plate. I mean, yeah, you're in middle of space, but be civilized.
Oh, I love a good sandwich. I'm gonna make it.
I love sandwiches.
I love sandwiches.
I bet it's
Not the
great.
way they did them, I don't think.
TJ's a fake fan.
Whoa.
Coming in hot. So yeah, okay. Have we talked about everything we need to talk about here?
I think so.
Think so.
Think so.
Great movie. Loved it.
So much fun.
They do,
wait for that
Jace.
sequel.
What?
A crystallic fusion slushy.
Holy good.
Yeah,
Oh my.
TJ, how are
They
you
teed
feeling?
themselves up for that.
Ash said every time she saw them making the whatchamacallit,
It's like-
it was
Slurpee.
a little Slurpee machine.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
what they need to do is they need to have some kind of drink
That's like in a...
that's in a thing, and yeah, there needs to be like a button you push on it, and that makes like the rainbow ice cube light up. That makes it look like that. But yes, I couldn't not think about Slurpees when I saw all the different levels going together. Oh, the formula! You know, like, oh, don't ruin the formula. You need a good concoction to make the perfect Slurpee. Mm-hmm. It's Coke, cherry, Coke.
No, it's just blue.
No, it's not just blue, you animal. Well, you better type it now. You've been waiting the whole stream. Just get it out there. And you decide the percentages of each flavor. That would be also so much fun. If you could order it in the app that way or something, like...
Oh, like
My
Sonic's
God.
screen. Like a little...
Jace, you're going to get yourself a glockenspiel for that one. There's a theater in Mexico selling Crystallic Fusion container drink cups.
Of course.
Oh, I have seen those. I don't know why we don't get the cool theater stuff here in the U.S.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah. Always get
It's
the
always
chef and
Mexico.
the popcorn
they get
buckets.
the coolest theater stuff.
Japan, Mexico always gets the themed theater
Yeah.
stuff. Japan
That's
gets
what
the
I'm saying.
amazing merch.
The park stuff.
Yeah, and all the park stuff. What are we?
What is going on?
What are we? Ham sandwiches?
Get Geo in charge again. Everything would be fixed if Geo was in charge.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, just give me the cup.
Just bring the cup to the U.S. It's not that hard.
Bada bing, bada boom. Put it on a plane.
Yeah.
So the Ivan bots is the same color code and
Eric.
the
That's what he says.
Eric. Oh, okay. I mean Eric. Yeah. So the Eric is the same color pattern as Wally. Okay. I don't know if that's an Easter egg. Maybe is it a nod? I don't know. Whoa, Glockenspiel. I'm honored. Have another one.
Honors, Jace.
Ooh,
Yeah.
another one.
And of course, came and bought one of them on eBay. I mean,
Dan,
Oh.
did you check on the eBay for it? The eBay. What?
the eBay.
Did you check on the old
Did you
eBay
check
for the
the eBay?
crystallic fusion glass?
We're now in
I did not
overtime
check
here.
eBay. I did not purchase it on the eBay yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Whoa! Did you guys see the eBay? Yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to see like the ultimate Toy Story and Lightyear collection, it's Cayman. I mean, is it Cayman? Cammon? How? Like you were saying it different, Dan. Do we know?
Oh, I said Cayman. I don't know if that's the right.
Oh,
way.
okay. All right, we'll go with
You'll
that.
have to ask him in the chat.
I think he said that.
He said I was right, but that was after I had said,
So-
is it
so
Cayman or
Cammon?
Cam? So you can tell me whatever you want to go
Well,
by.
he can type. Type in the chat? Is it K like K-A-Y Cayman or K like Cammon? You know what I mean? You can spell it out. You can spell it out in text.
Yeah.
There's a way to do it.
Or is it
Camera.
Oh, is it Common, like the rapper? An actor?
Could be. We don't know because he's not telling us.
Yes, and we did know this one too. I didn't go through every little like call out, but yes, it's by Mary McDonald Lewis. The voice of General Motors is OnStar. Absolutely, that voice is Ivan.
Cayman. Okay, Cayman. There we go. Sorry, it just came through.
Oh, and the Nintendo.
Amen.
Yeah, and because we're old, we know the Nintendo thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh
was
yeah,
great.
that was hilarious.
Yeah. that was a
that's
good throwback to
yeah.
like
That was really good.
the Nintendo 8-bit system. That one's always
That's how we played.
and if you want
Cayman.
Cayman,
The
okay.
islands.
Cayman Islands, like the islands. There we go, man. I don't know if they're Jamaican there. They're
No,
not.
they're not.
But when I hear islands, man, I think of the others. Okay. So, yes, there we go. All right. I think we have covered everything we need to. We have wore this thing down. Julie's given me the wrap it up a couple times, but that's how it goes around
Probably like an
here.
hour ago.
Yeah.
I love Julie or TJ said to me that today we're going to try to keep it under an hour, and I thought to myself
Under an
good
hour.
luck.
A Monsters at Work review is like over an hour. Every
I know. And someone did say, "Are we going to do
Good
weekly
luck.
ones
With
of those?"
Leon as well. You think that's going to happen, TJ?
No.
No.
Because when does Monsters at Work supposed to come back? Because I'm going to be gone again, so
They
I'll
just
probably be
they just announced it.
virtual
They
again.
did they say a date?
It was 2023. That's it.
Yeah. So I mean
Oh,
it's not this year.
You got time, Julie.
There's a big change up. I can't get into all the specifics, but there's a big change up with the show. So
Ooh.
yeah, so good news there. I don't know, good, bad, we'll find out. But news there, and then so we've got that. We still got to find, as Ultimate Pixar Fan is saying, we need to find that Bugs Life Easter egg. Yes, we do.
Yes.
And no, don't share anything here. If it's leaky or spoilery that they don't want out there yet, we'll keep that. How likely is it that there's already one being worked on? I hope
Maybe
so.
Disney Plus special? Who knows?
For Lightyear?
Yeah, who even knows? Maybe we could get a Disney Plus sequel. Maybe they. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All I need, in 20 minutes, like the length of Toy Story of Terror, a TV style episode.
Yeah.
They could explore Zurg, and then we'd be happy. 20 minutes, they could probably do it.
Yeah. And we'll go for that. We'll take that too. And then this is like ordering stuff at the parks for us. And then
We'll take that.
What else?
And then the other thing that I just want to talk about, because it was awesome, is that on the 1-year anniversary of Luca, they finally released on Disney Plus
Yeah.
the director's commentary track.
And you know how much we all love audio commentaries.
This
We were
group,
so
yes.
disappointed when it didn't have it.
Yeah, and I remember like 6 months ago, somebody asked Enrico, like, whatever happened to that? And he's like, oh yeah, I guess I did record one of those. I better look into it. So I'm glad that it's finally out there. We still don't know the answer of when do some of the special features get released on Disney Plus from the Blu-ray. So I don't know. New Cars on the Road info. Yeah, I can't say anything about that yet, but it's coming soon. So yeah, I think that's it. Do you think? Oh, a Buzz Lightyear Star Command. Jace had done a video about this, so if you guys want to check it out, check out Jace's conversation that he has about some of the Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. We do hope that it comes to Disney Plus. I mean, it's like, would now not be the perfect time?
Yeah, after the film is released, now they say, well, this is what came afterwards. It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe when it hits Disney Plus, it'll come with that.
Yeah.
How long do we think it'll be? Is it going to be the super short, like 1 month until it hits Disney Plus, or are we going to wait the 3 to 6 months?
I think it'll be shorter. I feel like Doctor Strange just came out and it's already hitting Disney Plus, and that film was a big success.
How long was that one?
That was only about 2 months, maybe 1 or 2 months.
No,
2 months, at least 2.
And Encanto was just over a month too.
Yeah, Encanto's a little different. It's kind of like
a month,
but it still was within that
weird,
that more pandemic-y phase. I think we're to the point now where the world is just like, meh, whatever.
No, that's true. But Doctor Strange was pretty quick.
And that's the one that I would kind of base it off of, because Doctor Strange was out of that. Like it was at the beginning of people being like, whatever, I'm going out.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. Tons to talk about. We've got D23 Expo coming that you guys will be at.
I still think you need to.
That you guys will be at.
I still think
maybe you could come out here too, but a man could dream.
We got Cars on the Road. We got Monsters at Work in 2023. We've got tons. We got Elemental that's going to be having more coming from it. We're going to have the next films after Elemental getting some shout outs. So we've got lots to look forward to. I love the fact that we're sprinkling in between the first all Pixar produced series with Cars on the Road. We're going to have those weekly. We're going to have, so much just coming. It's so exciting. Love all this stuff. But in the meantime, we're going to order up some more Lightyear and Zurg properties. So go ahead and start that up.
So it looks like Doctor Strange 2, thanks to Brian, was 47 days. So it was a month and a half then.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Thank
you, Brian.
There you go. Woo-hoo. Yeah.
So we could be looking at like August, I'd say. I mean, it makes sense.
Win or lose.
You got to see some win or lose at D23, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah. They announced that so long ago.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be next year, 2023. They had that date set way back at the announcement. They said fall of 2023, I think they said.
Yeah. Yep.
And they had the Cars on the Road. I rewatched that recently. Just they had that fall 2022 release date ahead of time too. Like they knew they have their dates set.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and they're sticking to it, so that's good.
Yeah.
It's Scott saying Elemental goes to theaters. They better not do this whole like Pixar is Disney Plus thing. We're not going down that road. Okay, Gio, you ready for the outro?
Oh, Jace, why you gotta be doing me like that? You really? Come on, man.
Jace gets another glockenspiel.
Oh my gosh. Why not Dan? Has Dan ever done it? Why don't we switch it up?
Or what about Gio?
I've done it and failed. I've crashed.
Did you do it? Should it be Paulina?
I need to practice
Paulina.
it.
She's too nice.
That's true. We can't do that to Julie.
I can't even do it.
What about to Julie? Let's do it for Julie.
I can't even do it.
All right, everybody. Thanks
Let's
for...
do it. Come on.
Yeah, look it. Oh, wait a minute. Brian says it's got to be Gio, too. Okay, Gio. Thanks again for everybody joining in. You guys absolutely know what to do after you leave this stream. What is it, Gio?
Head to pixarpost.com. Stay tuned. Oh, forget it.
Oh, wait, look. Your girlfriend says Gio has to do it.
Ash, why don't you go by Toy Story Midway Mania or something, all right?
Oh, sorry, she's at Disney.
Yeah.
What is she doing?
Oh, come on. You were so close, Gio. We're going to give it one more try here.
You're right. Stay tuned.
PixarPost.com all week for the latest Pixar news.
Wait, what did you say?
Oh,
He said it. He said all
Yeah,
week.
he said it.
Wait, no. What was the first part? I didn't hear the first part. I was too busy
I
talking.
said stay tuned to PixarPost.com.
That's it.
It's be sure.
Oh, jeez, Louise.
Be sure to stay tuned to Pixar Post
Pixar Post all week.
for the latest Pixar. Oh, no. Real quick. If anybody needs any Lightyear merchandise information, I said, Cayman's got a ton of collection. He gets like buckets. He'll get trash on the street. It does. If it says Lightyear on it, it's in his collection.
If it's a Pixar mini, the man will have it.
Yeah. So, but if you need very detailed or even just fun looks at the products, where do you go for that one?
Paulina, apparently.
No, my McDonald's socks. I got him.
Yay, you got him.
We still wait. Oh yeah, we did get socks. Yeah, we got socks too. So yes. So, but yeah, if you need any of those toy information, including a view of all of the McDonald's toys, you go to danthepixarfan.com or youtube.com/danthepixarfan.
Wow, look at you. Thank you. Thanks for the plug, man.
Absolutely. So yes, thank you everybody for joining in. Thank you, Lara, Jace, everything like that. Look at this. Dan is killing it on YouTube. How do we get out of this thing? Be sure to stay tuned to PixarPost.com all week for the latest Pixar news. Bye.
Bye.